while singing a song. The
Is that
song's
a
beautiful.
Valika?
It isn't actually.
It's a zither, presumably.
It's actually something else. If I know, I can't remember exactly what it's called off the top of my head. I will check
Is it?
now.
It's horizontal, right? It's one that's played flat, is it?
It begins with a K.
Kalimba.
Might be. Hang on a second. I can't find it now. Oh, yeah. Here we go. A can. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Cantella.
Cantella, yeah. It's a Finnish. It's a Finnish traditional instrument.
It's a type of zither.
Yeah. It's a chordophone, apparently. Belonging to the Southeast Baltics box zither. Yes, quite spot on. Yes.
Yeah, they're played flat. You lie them flat on your lap or your table or whatever. Often.
So there you go. Yeah, it's apparently 5 strings. Yeah. Oh, mind you can get up to 38 strings for a concert one.
Zithers can be massive.
Yeah.
Well, so Johan will wait until he's finished his song and then just cough gently.
Okay. The song is beautiful, and for a few moments, it takes you all away from the city and the weariness of travel. Hugo looks up and stops playing. He puts down his instrument and walks over. Welcome. I'm eternally grateful you've come all this way. I have tried to understand what has gotten into Agnes. I worry so much about her.
As do I, cousin, as do I. Perhaps it would be wise for us to see the child, and then you can tell us what has happened.
Well, indeed, cousin, indeed. But I'm afraid, even urgent as everything is, we should not let manners preclude. And maybe you should introduce me to your colleagues. He says as a clever way to get everyone to introduce the characters. So first but no means last, we get Rut.
This is my man Rut.
Good day, my lord.
Good day, sir. He does the whole clicking of the heels and half bow as they do. He inquires politely. He inquires politely after your well-being, and therefore any information you feel you should share with the rest of the party. And you, by all means.
I am quite well, my lord. I am happy to serve, my lord, and I provide the services that he needs and the protection if necessary.
Oh, marvelous, marvelous. And next along the line, I believe we'll find Mr. Anders.
Anders Jarv, consulting detective.
Oh,
yes, quite right. That's me.
I see.
Pleased to meet you.
Indeed. And I see we have you've brought a man of the cloth, which is probably a good thing given the effect the priest appears to have on my dear Agnes.
Indeed, Victor.
Yes.
Victor Nistrom, my cousin Hugo.
Well met. I am formerly a man of science, so I understand this issue from both ends.
Fascinating, fascinating indeed. Don't forget. I was going to say power. Yeah, I have to make sure your PowerPoints are back. And obviously, I know all about you, cousin. And how are things? It's been a long time since I saw you.
It has been a long time. Last you saw me, I was off to join the army. I did become an officer, but war is a thing that changes a man. I'm currently taking a leave of absence, and let us say I am pursuing my membership of the society with at least no small amount of vigor. Still, there are, as the English bard wrote, more things in heaven and earth than I've dreamt of in our philosophies, dear cousin.
Fascinating stuff. And we forget our manners. We've left the Fraulein to last. And his bow is extra precise when it comes to Blender.
Yeah, she puts her hand out to shake hands and she goes, Blenda Lindbergh. I was once employed with someone, probably one of your peers, but while the Baroness was quite a lovely lady and was quite involved in the hunting, I just could not be comfortable around the Baron any further and decided to go and apply my skills elsewhere.
Well, I am glad that all of you are here, and I welcome you to my humble home. I of course, can have rooms set up for all of you to stay here if you so wish.
That would be most pleasant, cousin.
Where's the lady of the house?
Johan elbows Anders in the side with, in the sanatorium, remember?
Ah, of course, it must have slipped my mind. I was thinking of something else.
God, if ever there was a good use of big mouth hindrance, that would have been it. That was brilliant, though. I have to admit, I'm going to have to give you one for that. Hugo does look very uncomfortable. Goes, yes, indeed, yes. Yes. It's as I say, I'm all at a bit of a loss on what to do with this one, but the doctor insists that it is. The doctor just insists that it is hysterics, and she will recover shortly.
Well, yes, the doctors do say that women are prone to hysteria.
Indeed,
I didn't kick you for that.
Mistress Lindbergh, I did not say I agreed with them. I just said that this is what the doctors say.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So yes, you were asking after my son Edward. I believe he'll be at the nursery with the wet nurse.
If we might pay him a visit. I'm sure your man Tech can take our bags to our rooms.
Indeed. And Hugo pulls the old pulley and arranges Tet and a couple of others to. Tet arranges some of the other footmen to take your bags to the rooms, and the maid to take the bags to Lady Blender's rooms. Then Tet himself takes you up, leads you upstairs to the nursery. As you leave the living room, you hear another hauntingly beautiful tune starting up. So you arrive at the nursery. Again, beautiful windows from the nursery. Beautiful windows overlook the garden. Apparently, in this nursery, 3-month-old Eduard von Kaiserling is fast asleep in his cradle. The wet nurse is sitting quietly nearby. After Ted explains quietly to the wet nurse who you are, she doesn't. She stops frowning indignantly at the arrival of so many strangers in the nursery, and allows you to approach the cradle. But she obviously any time you start to make any sort of noise, there's a sort of spontaneous stare and a finger up against the lips, tweeting you to keep quiet. But there you are, looking into the cradle. You can see the young Edward fast asleep, pink cheeks, curly light brown hair sticking out from the top of his head, and looking perfectly content in every way.
While they're all looking at the baby, I'm going to go and find out where the wet nurse's room is by whispering in her ear.
I don't wish to know why there, really.
Do I know what colour hair the wife Anna has got?
That's a very good question. Agnes.
Agnes, sorry.
Agnes von Kaisling. She's Swedish. Average height, long dark brown hair, and warm, inquisitive brown eyes, as far as you remember.
Yeah, just with the father being blonde and a lot of Nordics being blonde, having a brown-haired baby could have been a thing.
Well,
But it's
indeed.
not.
But it's not. So,
Since Anders appears to be talking to the wet nurse, I will leave that interview to him. And turn to Victor, Rut, and Blender. Oh, this is the child that my cousin's wife tells us is evil and possessed.
Doesn't seem to be.
No, without seeing him up and about, it's hard to tell, but we certainly should not disturb his nap.
Of course.
Meanwhile, Blenda's over there by the cradle poking at the baby.
okay. Sorry. My computer's a lot more noisy than it used to be. All the notifications I obviously turned off, I've turned back on again. Ugh. Okay.
The motherly type, she'll have no qualms about waking the kid up because, well, she's not the one that's going to have to deal with it now, is she?
Well, indeed not. Okay. After a few pokes, Anders, all you've so far managed to get out of the wet nurses. Her name is another interesting one to pronounce here. I'm going to call it Aino, but Aino? I don't know. I know. Yeah, I know. I think we'll do. She's long. She.
Was that a deliberate funny? He says, "I don't know," and he said, "I know."
I hadn't picked up on that one. I quite like it though. Oh, what the hell? There you go. I know it's 32 years old, and obviously that's Anders's best guess. You think? Just from information she gives us, she's worked as a wet nurse for various families in the town. She's long blonde hair, which you again deduce, Anders, from a couple of strands that have escaped from the bonnet she always wears. What the other thing you do notice, being the increasingly good detective you are, is she is wearing a wedding ring. So she does not. The odds are she doesn't. Well, she probably does have a room here, but yeah. But anyway, with Blender poking, it doesn't take long for the little count to wake up and start bawling at the top of his lungs, causing Anders's conversation with I know to be protracted. And can I have notice checks from anyone who is looking at the little child?
Well, I'm going to look because he started crying and interrupted me.
Yeah, but you're nowhere near the cradle, so.
Oh, look at that. It's lucky I was nowhere near the cradle, isn't it? I got a shot of something I was not meant to be looking at.
Maybe I forgot to button up after the last feed.
Indeed. Rut, Johan, no, but Rut and Blender, you notice as the baby is crying, he's got a good set of lungs on him. He's obviously a good, healthy baby in that regard, and anyone with medical knowledge could always examine him later if they so wish. But he's got 2 bottom teeth.
Three months old and got 2 teeth.
It happens, though not often.
So is it merely that he's teething that is causing this quote unquote demonic behavior?
Could well be, couldn't it? Who knows?
Well, the boy could certainly challenge the very hordes of hell on screaming.
Very much so.
I'm not having the faintest idea what to do with the child.
Typical, isn't it? The one time the actual doctor could be useful is the one time we don't have the doctor. Not to worry.
Well, Blenda is going to dig a rabbit's foot out of her pocket because she carries it for luck. And it's a rabbit she killed herself. Not so lucky for the rabbit. And dangle it in front of the baby and you know.
Okay, as you dangling it in front of the baby, its eyes fix on it quite quickly, and you can see it grasping for it, and once its fingers get close enough to it, it grasps onto it quite tightly, sitting up in the process. And then giggles and falls back down and starts cooing again, then just grasping at it again.
Well,
Quite a happy child.
I will hand it to the baby to play with.
Okay, the baby just quite quickly, yeah, literally the baby just grasps at it and starts holding onto it tightly and smiling and.
Okay, a baby that can sit up unaided at 3 months. That's quite advanced as well.
That is a little bit more disturbing, yes.
Well, the point is just a baby. She doesn't have a lot of experience with babies, and it's just like.
Yeah, we could really do with the doctor.
It was only just this one section, to be honest. But anyway, I just found it rather amusing. Oh well.
And Johan has no idea about children, so I'll just leave that.
I know. Basically, by the time Ido gets away from Anders and gets back to Eduard, he's obviously already no longer crying, and she smiles at Blended with a tired face, saying, thank you, milady. That's yes. It's been an interesting time.
Is he a difficult child?
She sort of shakes. She smiles and shakes her head, going, "Oh no, he's fine."
I ask because we are working in the child's best interest. I would rather hear the truth than hear what you think we want to hear.
Like that. Make a persuasion roll. I'll give you a +2 bonus on that because you very much made it clear that you care about the child. Anyone else can assist if they wish to, with some helpful words.
Rut will assist. Not that it looks like it was needed.
It doesn't look like it was needed at all. Someone forgot their slash on their remote.
Yep, someone did. And Johan just points out that he's a member of the family, but that doesn't really make much difference.
No, and I don't think saying Horns, Fork Tunnel, Pointed Tell helps in any way. Your case.
I should have put it says it to Victor in hushed tones.
And Rut, just being a manservant, knows all about how to present himself regarding children. So
Ido looks a little concerned. She obviously has very good hearing, as you would hope for someone who's obviously used to looking after children. And she looks at you, Johan, and says, "Speak of the devil in him. He is sure to appear." A bit concerned as she says it, and glances around from both sides and goes, "Yes, sir. Yes. I fear for the child's safety. I do think something. I mean, it's just we know that around here. We understand the importance of basically ensuring that children are christened as soon as possible, protect them from evil. When Eduard's christening was delayed because of the master's dissertation, I tried to convince Lady Agnes to let me sew some protective runes onto the pillowcase in the cradle, but Lady Agnes forbade me to resort to such superstitious nonsense, as she called it, and sent for Father Cornelius instead. By that very night, Agnes seemed to go mad. I heard a commotion. I came into the nursery and found that Edouard was not here, and in a frantic worry, I did search the top floor of the property, and I did find the lady standing over a full wash tub in the sauna. And at the time, I did not tell the Lord this. I thought it would upset him too much. I had to basically force Lady Agnes off off her son before I could retrieve him from the bottom of the tub.
Hmm.
But I have
So
not
it is.
noticed. I have noticed nothing unusual about the child. But I just fear for his safety, for he is unprotected.
Was she saying anything while she was standing over the tub?
Well, when I tried to stop her, it was in the letter, wasn't it? I've lost it now. Yeah, she was She said we must drown the monster.
Ah,
Hmm. And this,
Mummy thinks it's a
she
monster.
did not. She did not express this until the father came.
No,
Indeed.
she was saying that just nobody was in the room other than the two of them.
Right, but when I say the father, I mean the priest.
Yes. Yeah.
She didn't do that until after the priest had visited.
Hmm.
Oh yes.
Yes. That's the impression. That's the
At least
impression
the
I know.
timeline we have.
That's the
Yes, I
timeline
think that.
you have.
I think we should go visit
Scooby-Doo,
the priest next.
I think perhaps it would be wise for me to visit dear cousin Agnes.
Of course.
Indeed,
I
you
was thinking
may
the
also want
sanatorium
to
might
ask
be
if
the
there's
best.
any more. I mean, you may want to find out more from Hugo, but I'm not sure he can tell you much. But this all may want to make sure there's nothing there.
Well,
But yes, cousin Agnes would be a good move.
I wouldn't visit cousin
Okay, that
Agnes
doesn't
without
work.
asking the count's permission first,
Well, that's
and
true.
maybe get some information out of him about what state she might be found in and what's happened already, so that we know what to expect.
Hmm.
So that would be the next move: is ask Hugo for permission to visit his wife. Ask what's happened to her so far, what we might expect, what drove him to send her to the sanatorium, on whose recommendation, maybe.
Well, indeed. So,
How far is the sanatorium from here?
Not very far.
Map.
It's on the way back to the harbour.
Maybe we should go and speak to her.
well, like you said, absolutely. But he wouldn't dream of visiting the count's wife without permission from the count first.
Well, you might not.
It's Victorian society. There's certain proprietaries you still must take.
I'm a lech.
I doubt that
Think
very
fallen women and as confined in a sanatorium.
much.
Me? The 13th Duke of Wimbledon?
I forgot you were a constant adulterer.
My reputation.
In a sanatorium at 3 a.m. in the morning with my reputation? Bingo.
Okay. Yes, Hugo. So yeah. Basically, yes. Yeah. Hysteria. So Hugo believes his wife suffers from melancholy caused by the agonies of childbirth. So obviously, yeah. You visit. That's what I knew it was somewhere. I couldn't find it from earlier. Yes, going back into the living room. You find Hugo still staring out, sitting in the bay window. The instrument close at hand. He appears to be sort of flicking through some notes. It's like he's his research. He seems to be doing some research, but the Canatella is nearby.
Tell me, Hugo, if you will, what drove you to send dear Agnes to the sanatorium rather than having her rest in her rooms here?
Well, hang on a second. That's a very good question. Where is it? There we go. I just need that. Well, obviously, I was at my head. Obviously, she'd been melancholy since the birth of the child, but then obviously, which was fine, and she appeared to be recovering, and then there was that incident with the night, and obviously, we had to. We couldn't allow. I just couldn't allow her to stay in the same house as myself. And I mean, I know goes home every Sunday to see her children, and you know, I'm I can't protect him all the time, but everyone has to sleep. You know, it doesn't take the fact that she got Edward into the sauna to drown him in the tub is just unbearable, and the fact that a mother would want to kill her own child is surely not the sign of a sound mind, and therefore I consulted Dr. Norman, and he he agreed that the stress of childbirth must have weakened Agnes's mind, and he convinced me that a regimen of hot mud baths will restore my good wife to good mental health.
Very well. And tell me, have you put any thought to the child's christening?
Well, yes, indeed, as I say, it's this. I think, in some ways, I think this may well have been part of the problem. But I cannot hold a christening without my darling Agnes cured and at my side.
You could do a little temporary blessing, though, couldn't you?
Indeed. Would you
Since we have someone of the cloth here, you know what I mean? Bit of a mini christening, just to protect the child.
Would you allow Victor here to bless and present the child by name to our good Lord and hold a full ceremony later?
Like I say, well, you know me, cousin. I don't believe in any of that poppycock, obviously, but my wife does, and therefore I could, you know, she would never forgive me if anything christening was to take place without her presence and all the correct stuff being done. And besides, I am fairly confident she will insist that her friend, Father Cornelius, will have to perform the ceremony.
Of course.
Father Cornelius sounds a bit dodgy. Anyone called Cornelius, they're always dodgy.
See, I blame myself. I blame myself. It's all my fault, and my work and my dissertation kept me away for so long. Um, I don't know. Did you receive did you receive a copy of it? Uh,
I don't believe I did, dear cousin. I'm
think
sure I would have devoured it eagerly had I done so.
Actually, you have a vague feeling that some points, a publication arrived at the society called Songs of Shadow and Fire, but I'm not sure. You're not necessarily knowing how or where it came from. I think it's probably sitting in the library somewhere. But he does explain that he does. He suddenly his eyes go a bit glazed a bit there, and he seems to sort of suddenly, as well recognise Johan, he suddenly sort of comes more to life and start explaining that he in his dissertation titled "Songs of Shadow and Fire," where he examined whether the origin of the Kali craters can be traced in local legends and songs. Because for many years, he'd been convinced that the craters were caused by a meteorite and not, as the accepted theory would have it, volcanic activity. He came to Cali village in the hope of collecting tales and songs describing the history in the area, but he encountered problems. The villagers were suspicious of outsiders, and they would not share their rich folklore. Frustrated that his research came to a halt, he turned to one of the village leaders, a Lilo Sisalik, proprietor of the Tuljak Inn, Tuljak Inn. Nice. And at this point, you notice his hand while he's been talking had been going across to the cantella, and by this point, he's now holding it as he says, "That's where she gifted me the cantella. She told me that if I learned to play the local melodies, perhaps the villagers would open up a bit more." And I performed regularly at the inn, and and it's and it was a strange thing. There was a ceremony. It was all done. It was a ceremony in one of the largest craters where I was taking soil samples, and she handed me the instrument there, and then I learned to play it, and the locals were touched by my talent and my interest in their musical tradition, and I started making great progress with the research. I spent many evenings performing at the inn. And, the locals sang to my tunes. Finally, after talking and with everyone and learning more of the songs, I gained a deeper understanding of how the craters may have come into being. I finished the dissertation a month or so before Agnes gave birth to our first child. Songs of Shadow and Fire introduced my theory that the craters were the result of a meteorite impact. It has been described as groundbreaking in both content and method, and has had significant impacts across Europe. Then
I'd say that it would be groundbreaking if it's about volcanoes necessarily.
Indeed, but alas, I see got so caught up with this, and then the christening was meant to happen, but I had to go and give a talk upon my dissertation. So obviously, it was delayed, and I have since come back. That my dear Agnes has been more melancholy than before, and yes, we find ourselves. So yes, please, good cousin, if you feel that talking to Agnes will help, then please do. Uh, please
Tell me,
do
Hugo,
indeed.
do you happen to have a copy of your dissertation?
He does. He says, "Well, yes, indeed," and says, "I think you'll find a couple in the library."
Perhaps I might borrow it to peruse.
Well, of course, yes. You see, you do get the impression he's slightly hurt that you obviously hadn't read the copy he probably arranged to have sent to you, but obviously, but by then he's obviously finding comfort in the music, and he's already absent-mindedly stringing the chords upon the cantata.
Well, I'll get hold of the get hold of the book, and we can go and see Agnes. But once we're out of Hugo's earshot, I will talk to the other members of the society and say it's entirely possible that Agnes may be correct that there is something strange about the child following our conversation with Hugo. What do you think?
It's possible. I hate to malign a fellow of the cloth, but it also seems like he may be the issue here, or at least contributing.
Yes, indeed.
Oftentimes with these cults, they have been known to install a trusted advisor close to the child, one that can protect them.
Or in a position of power within a city.
Yep.
Yes.
As you talk, Hugo starts to sing another song. Quick the heavens burst asunder, quick the vault of Ukko opens, downward drops the wayward far child, downward quick the red bull rushes, shoots across the arch of heaven, hisses through the startled cloudlets, flashes through the troubled welkin, through 9-starry vaults of ether. What you understand is that's one of the songs that led him to believe a meteorite caused the craters around Carly Village.
That was Vault of whom?
Ukko.
Down the vault of UKKO. Quick, the vault of Ukko opens.
Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, it just makes me suspicious that there might be.
I will allow occult or academics roles.
What's better? It's the same.
So you were saying it made you suspicious.
Somewhere beneath the sea.
So Rump was saying
somewhere
something made him
waiting for
suspicious.
me.
Yeah, and then rolled an 11 on his occult. So
Okay. Okay. I don't think it's pronounced. It's Uko. 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 It's the god Uko in Estonian mythology is the god of the sky, weather, harvest, and thunder.
Hmm.
Sky god, basically. So out of the sky came the wayward far child, apparently. So
Yes, we should definitely go and visit Agnes. We should also probably visit the priest. I think we might actually be dealing with a changeling here. And she's right. And it's been brought on by Hugo's association with this cult of some kind that he's unaware he's been involved with.
Yes, changeling does not seem outside the realm of possibilities at all, especially since the child is so advanced.
Hmm.
What time of day is it?
it's probably by now it's probably basically I would say at this point lunch will be served, and obviously it's just a light lunch. It only takes a couple of hours, so it's probably early afternoon by the time you leave the residence and are able to head to either the church or the sanatorium.
Hmm.
Your
Do we
cousin
split
does
the party?
of course we split the party. Hello.
Look who you're talking to, really.
Right. Well, since Johann is effectively the relative, Johann should probably go to the sanatorium. And as Rut is his man, Rut should certainly come with Johann.
And I want to go to the sanatorium too, unless the wet nurse is going home early.
She only
And
goes
it
home
probably
on a
makes sense
Sunday.
for Victor to go to the church as a fellow man of the cloth.
Can I have let me think what would be I really want to say religious roll or common knowledge. Can I have a common knowledge roll from Victor, please?
Certainly. Where is it?
Common knowledge.
Yep.
Unless we're going to have a Catholic Protestant problem here.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah, that's okay. 5, that's good enough. Well, I'll let you come to that deduction. Basically, given that you're in Estonia and given the name is the Church of St. Nicholas, Victor, you suspect you are fairly confident that this will be that Father Cornelius will be a member of the Russian Orthodox Church.
Ah.
I will relay that.
You are because you are in you technically are in the Russian Empire, yeah, right on the edge of it, but you are technically coming in the Russian
Victor's
Empire.
a Lutheran, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe Victor shouldn't go to the church.
I don't know. The conflict might actually bring out what the problem is very quickly.
Yeah, there is that.
Well, now it makes it seem that like my suspicion is of this man of the cloth is Internisi, but it is not. I assure you.
So, are we splitting the party? That's the question.
Let's all go as a group.
I tell you what, I'll tell you what, I'll make it nice and easy for you. I'll unlock the tokens. I shall put all of you outside the von Kaiserling residence. And if you wish to split up, then split up the tokens. If you wish to travel together, then travel together. And therefore, I leave it to you to decide which way you want to go.
First and foremost, Johann wants to visit the sanatorium to see his cousin by marriage.
Okay.
And I seem to have lost the map. Thank you.
It's a slightly zoomed in version, just because most of it you don't need to worry about. There we go. Oh, let's also turn off the grid because it doesn't need to snap to grid, which makes things easier for me because then I can have you. So the question is, where is Rut and Blender headed? Are they headed with everyone else to the sanatorium?
Yeah, she's not going to see no priest.
Okay, well that's okay. Everyone's going to the sanatorium. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so the basically the sanatorium is located in the wing of one of the many medicinal bathhouses constructed of wood along the shore. After the mud with healing properties was discovered a few decades ago, obviously these medicinal bathhouses sprung up. The sanatorium house is a light green. It has large, beautiful blonde windows, a glassed-in porch overlooking the sea, and many rooms in the main building as well as the two wings. The reception desk is manned by two nurses, each dressed in a white uniform and cap. And people wearing the establishment's bathrobes, this is obviously the main medicinal bathhouse because only one wing's the sanatorium, are sitting in comfortable armchairs and talking to each other. Water decanters have been placed on tables all over the room. And as you enter, obviously the two nurses look up quizzically.
Good day, ladies. We're here
Hello.
to visit the Countess Agnes.
Ah, you're here to see Dr. Norman.
No, we're here to see the Countess Agnes. But I understand we will have to speak with Dr. Norman to do so.
Please wait. And one of them rings a bell, and a young lad comes up, and the nurse writes a quick note, and you hear her say, Dr. Norman, and the young lad runs off, carrying the note with him. And a few minutes later, the young lad runs back with another note, and the nurse reads it, goes, Dr. Norman, at which point you get the impression she's obviously burns a candle for him, suddenly sort of adds in, feels the need to add in, Chief City Physician will receive you in his office on the second floor. She gestures at the young lad, goes, this lad will take you to his office. Thank you.
Lead on, young man.
The young lad eagerly leads you on your way up to the main flight of stairs in just behind the reception area, and takes you up to the second floor and along the corridor of the main building, and basically gestures at the door, a rather expensive looking wooden door. You notice it's sort of like better quality than all the other doors down the corridor, which has been painted on it in very neat calligraphy. Dr. Norman, Chief City Physician. Oh, and I do forget. I knew I forgot something earlier, just to help out there. Oh, something. Something I forgot to share you earlier when you were in the Kaiserling household. Obviously, there was a portrait of Count Hugo and his wife Agnes.
Well, I shall wait for the boy to open the door for us.
He knocks on the door. You hear a voice. You hear it enter, and the boy opens the door and bids you enter.
After you, Mistress Lindstrom. Sorry, Lindbergh.
Yeah, I'm going in.
Yanders just barges it past everyone and in.
Yep.
So it's like either Blender's not here, or her mic's not working, or she's hesitant to go first. But anyway,
Well, I'm not going first. I'm just along to
I know.
make sure they don't get their happy asses killed.
Indeed, you're just waiting to get
I'll
the
go
chance to
into-
shoot Johan on the backside, aren't you?
Pretty much.
Okay, once everyone is inside, I've lost my train of thought there now. Yeah, Dr. Norman, Heinrich Norman, he introduces himself. You guessed, you average he's obviously in his 50s. His average height, he's wearing at the moment, he's wearing a shirt, vest and pants under his white lab coat. His grey blue eyes have an intense but warm look behind the round glasses. He explains, he greets all of you and explains that for the past 15 years, he's served as chief physician of Erinsburg and head of the sanatorium, which offers treatments for both physical and mental ailments. He explains how he moved here after reading about the discovery of the mud deposit that was well suited for medicinal baths. Doctor explains how he firmly believes in the healing properties of the baths and the mud, and asks, he says, I gather you're here to inquire about Lady Agnes von Kaiserling.
We are indeed here to see the Countess.
I'm afraid that would be quite impossible. She's currently being held in the closed section of the sanatorium due to her repeated attempts to escape.
I'm afraid you don't understand me, Doctor. We are here to see Countess Agnes.
And I do understand, but I'm afraid it's Agnes has not given any reasonable explanation for any of her actions. Therefore, until she has had a good regimen of mud baths that will restore her good mental health, I cannot allow anyone to upset her treatments. As I say, if on multiple occasions she has attempted to escape, to kill the monster, as she puts it. And I'm afraid that if any disruption to her treatment could have catastrophic effects on her mental health, and I do not wish to, but if we cannot cure her here, we will have to send her to the mental hospital in Riga. Not a nice place. It's a bit like Bedlam would have been in Victorian London.
Regardless, Johan's going to stand up, put both fists knuckles down on the table and lean towards the doctor. And preventing me from seeing my cousin could have severe problems for your own health, Doctor.
Can I have notice checks from other people while Johan's doing the intimidations?
Oh, fuck off.
And this is obviously still thinking about the wet nurse.
Yep.
Our consulting detective is so good at this.
Oh dear.
It's what happens, you see, when I start thinking about, like, you know, that other part of my character. I start rolling ones. The underpants are interfering with dice rolls.
Rut actually got the raise. Although with Johan's rather good intimidation roll, you probably don't need to have succeeded, Rut. But Rut, I will point out that you have noticed there is a set of hooks on the doctor's office, and you have noticed that above each hook is a name, and you have identified the key that would obviously unlock Agnes's room. But the doctor, protesting still about disrupting her frail mental state, does capitulate to Johan's intimidation tactics, and gets complaining and moaning about it all the way. He strides over to where to where Rat did notice all the keys were, and basically he opens up a couple of cupboards, and then you see Rat notices he picks out the key that you'd already identified, and says, "I see. Well, we have to limit the number of people inside her cell. Her cell. She wouldn't even say that. Her suite, and after all, But I will allow no more than 2 people to accompany me. For the sake of her mental health.
Johan will look to the rest of the society and see if anyone wants to volunteer to come with him.
I might stay in. I might just wait here.
Perhaps a woman would be less frightened if you're accompanied by another woman. Blenda will
Very good
volunteer.
idea.
You demolishing the house?
Hmm?
So you demolishing the house?
The dog is.
Ah. Anyway, so if you manage to see Agnes, okay. So you are taken to see Agnes von Kaiserling.
While they're off doing it, I'm going to start looking through his desk and files to see if there's anything dodgy about this character.
A good plan.
Okay. If anyone else wishes to assist, it's obviously going to be noticed to search. So if anyone else wishes to assist in the search, make your notice checks now, and then we'll add those together onto Andis's critical failure.
Does Anders have investigator? Because that would totally apply in this case.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I added the +2 already.
Yes. So you get 13 in total. Okay. I shall come back to anything you find. Agnes von Kaiserling. She's 27 years old, Swedish, and married to Hugo for 4 years. So you've probably never actually met her. Thinking about it, Johan. She's of average height with long brown hair and warm, inquisitive eyes. No problem at all. So basically that, but however, she doesn't at all. That portrait you saw of her and Hugo in the in their house does not. You barely recognise her as the same woman as the one you see here, who's basically seems to be a very distressed and anxious woman. As the door opens, she sees the doctor. That you get a sort of flash of annoyance at the doctor, but then her eyes go wide in fear and suspiciousness, I suspect, from 2 strangers entering her room, and she backs away to the far wall.
I will give her a small bow and say, "Many apologies, dear cousin, for this being the manner of our meeting. It cuts me to the quick that I was unable to be at your wedding, for I was away with the army. My name is Johan Almklint. I'm cousin to you by marriage through your husband Hugo. I've come to talk to you about recent events. The doctor will be leaving us," and I give the doctor a look. "This is my associate, Mistress Lindberg. Suffice to say, we wish to see you leave the sanatorium in good health." And then I look at the doctor and say, "If you will, doctor."
The doctor gives you a very dirty look as he backs out, and so but at the same time he says, "I fear that it will not help if I find outside of this room." But he goes anyway, still obviously intimidated by that look you gave him earlier. Agnes, however, hasn't backed away from the back corner of the room, and definitely has a very concerned, suspicious look upon her face.
Once the door is closed, Johan is going to drop down on his haunches so that he's kind of at a lower level than Agnes is, and say, "I have seen many things in my time with a group known as the Society, and I'm inclined to believe that you are right. there may be something about your child that is more than normal. Let us help you and help your child. Please.
Well, I'm going to say that that was very clever, and therefore I will forget because it convinced me, and it convinced me, and I'm a crotchety old GM, so I'm not even going to make you have to make persuasion roll there to make her trust you, because I think you picked exactly the right words. Agnes seems to relax a bit. She seems to sort of show signs of relief and slumps a bit. She recovers quickly, and standing by one of the windows, you notice she appears quite pale. Her long dark hair is tangled and untidy. She's very thin, but she speaks calmly and quietly. But behind the politeness in her voice, you can tell there is much pain. It was such a joy when little Edward was born. I'm so lonely. I am so lonely here. Hugo's research requires that he travels all the time. I was looking forward to sharing my everyday life with the baby. The house would not feel so empty. Do not get me wrong. My husband's work is very important to me as well, but we have not gotten to know many of the other families living here. My only support has been Father Cornelius. I tried to convince Hugo that the baby should be baptized immediately after birth, but he was about to make a breakthrough with his dissertation and wanted to wait until his work was done before arranging the christening party. Again, I implored him until he baptized the baby. Until he is baptized, the baby will be defenseless against evil, I said, but Hugo would not budge. A shadow falls over Agnes' face, and you're not sure if she's conscious that she's doing it, but she starts to clench her fist. A few weeks ago, I noticed the child had changed. I swear to you, when I put Edward in the little cradle, I could see his face shift. His eyes turned dark. His beautiful features were twisted into something strange and wild. Hugo had just returned from one of his trips to Carly Village, and he would not listen. The next night, the baby was sitting in his cradle. Can you imagine how natural it is for a 2-year-old to be sitting upright? That is not my baby, but a monster. I do not know what came over me. The next thing I remember is the wet nurse pulling me away from the bathtub in the sauna. Oh God, what have I done? My baby is out there somewhere. I feel it in every fibre of my being. You must go to Father Cornelius. He is the only one who might know what to do. I must save my child.
We will do what we can for both you and your child, dear cousin. Tell me, do you know anything more of the Kali village?
I know it's just where Hugo spent much of his time researching for the dissertation. I've never been there myself.
Did Hugo ever bring anyone back from the Kali village with him?
No, not to my knowledge. No.
Indeed.
They like to keep to themselves. They are suspicious of outsiders.
Very well. Be assured we will do everything we can to help both your child and yourself.
She smiles at this, and for the first time in a while, some comfort appears upon her face.
We are going to speak with the doctor and suggest that his regimen is not working. Unfortunately, our own alienist was unable to travel with us, so we may have to resort to some minor subterfuge, but if I could arrange for your release from the sanatorium, I will. You have my word as an officer and a gentleman.
My lady, where did the wet nurse come from?
I'm afraid you're not in the room to ask that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's a
It's
good
only
question.
Blender and Johan that are there.
But you can always ask Hugo that, I'm sure. But it's a good question, but I'm going to be evil and say, yeah, you can't ask it. Possibly because it doesn't really matter, and possibly because it's a really important question, and therefore I want to screw you over.
Has my investigation turned up anything in this room?
As far as you can tell, there is nothing suspicious or nothing untoward or unusual or in any way, shape, or form. Any way you can blackmail the good Dr. Norman in any way. If he appears to be completely above board, everything appears to be legitimate, legal,
Apart
and
from his
paid for.
delusion that he's doing a good job, he believes it.
Yeah, but back then, I mean,
Yeah,
at
of
the end of
course,
the
yeah.
day,
They're all
in
nutters.
keeping with the medical, in keeping with medical theories of the time, he's a well respected and trusted physician.
Leeches, I say, leeches.
Yes. Does it
Cut the
matter?
vein
Because
open.
you're
That's
the
going to
largest
make you
leech
feel
farm
much
in Europe.
better.
With the view to the child's christening, Johann says, I have a priest amongst my entourage, Victor Nistrom. Now, I understand Father Cornelius is a friend of yours and of the Orthodox Church. Victor is a Lutheran, but is still a man of the cloth and in good keeping with our Lord. Would you permit Victor to bless the child and christen him in your absence, if that is necessary? You can, of course, have him rechristened at the Church of St. Nicholas when all is said and done. But would it bring you comfort to know that a priest has introduced your child to God?
There's definite look of basically. Well, when we find my child, then we shall have him christened. Until then, that monster in my husband's house is not my child.
It shall be as you wish. Now, we must depart. I will see to your release if I can, but know that we are working for you.
She smiles and sort of thanks you. At which point the doctor goes, "I cannot allow any longer. Any more time could be counterproductive."
So the doctor bursts in at that point, does he?
Well, he opens the door.
In which case, Johann is going to offer his arm to the Countess and say, "My lady, Doctor, we will be leaving now, all of us."
Goes, "I'm afraid I cannot allow that, and you cannot take her out of here. It would be a criminal offence for you to leave with another man's wife."
It would not be criminal for me to leave with my cousin.
Only her husband can release her from the sanatorium.
With the authority of the Count.
I say again, legally, only her husband, in person, or with irrefutable evidence of his permission, can his wife leave the sanatorium.
Johann will give.
This is where I find Victorian things very useful.
Yeah. Johann will look Agnes in the eyes and just give a very slight nod. Turn to the doctor, say, "Very well, doctor, lead on."
I apologise for having to, as obviously at this point he does finish saying what he was going to say is, I apologise for bringing in, but it is nearly time for Lady Agnes's next treatment, and also obviously we need to start the preparations for the evening treatments of the patients. So he escorts you and Blender out back to his office, by which point Anders has had time to tidy everything up and put it all back as if nothing has ever been touched.
I never even made a mess in the first place. I'm that good.
Indeed. But you did a very good role, yes. And besides, the doctor's got no
I was
reason
going to start a
to
fire in
right
his bin
through.
actually to distract him. But yeah,
Wow. There we go.
distract the doctor, and then Johan can take his cousin out of here while they're looking the other way.
Okay, so at this point, obviously, you get the impression that obviously, I know there's no such thing back then as visiting hours, but for all intents and purposes, we're saying visiting. Well, it's the easiest way to put it in terms of the way the sanatorium works. It's obviously the end of visiting hours, and they want to get on with stuff, and they don't want members of the public in there when it does it because obviously certain things may be distressing to those who are not medically trained and therefore think something barbaric is happening when in fact it's actually for the medical well-being of the patient.
And very barbaric.
Mm.
Yes, we're going to do a lobotomy with this screwdriver.
Exactly. Yeah. It's horrifying.
Trepanning's perfectly safe.
Yes, it's the latest medical proven thing, isn't it? Don't forget, this person's suffering from blood loss. We must bleed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, of course. He's got a blood problem. Let's just cut his arm open
Yeah, exactly.
with a rusty knife.
Indeed. But anyway, so also obviously, yeah. So yes, so you were basically escorted from you're basically escorted from the premises to find yourselves outside of the medicinal bathhouses. Right. This is an interesting one.
Well, Mistress Lindbergh, from that interview and our former experiences, I am certainly led to believe that the child is indeed a changeling, and that perhaps my poor cousin Hugo has in some way been enchanted by these songs of fire and darkness to be the one that brought the changeling here himself. What say you?
What I'm going to say, I'm going to have the five of you have basically have a combined uh deduction. Well, I'm not trying to think what the ways. Basically, what I'm going to say is, I need one of you. You need to nominate someone who is going to make an academics or a cult roll, and the rest of you all get to assist. I'm not going to put a limit on the number of. There isn't a limit on the number of modifiers you can get to this roll, but the idea is it's you all discussing stuff and knowledge stuff together to try and deduce what possible. They might be right or they might be wrong. Possibilities of things. So, first things first, who do you wish to nominate as the actual person who will make the roll? That if you fail it, you'll have to find out stuff another way.
Definitely not Johan. Johan is a man of action, not a man of deep thought. He's running on gut instinct here.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little of the occult.
What does it say? It's your choice of occult or academics. But basically, we need one person to sort of lead the role, and everyone else can assist.
Well,
Okay,
I've got a 6 in
just say it. I have a
academics.
D6 in both.
I've done 2 critical failures so far today. Can I do 3 in a row? The question.
Hey, I did when we were playing Pathfinder. Charged into attack 3 times. Each time, critical failure, fell on my ass.
You mean Stumblefoot?
That's the one.
Well, I'll do the roll if you want.
It's Astrid. Those who've actually played Astrid, she's the one who's really good at the occult, the academics, and science, and weird science.
Well, you are the consulting detective. You're the one that puts things together. So I think yes, it should be Anders leading.
Oh, look at that! Oh,
you do know you're meant to go last, but it doesn't matter.
I
don't think he does with a 14, does he?
Oh,
well, actually, critical failure. That takes it down to a 12. The most you could get, that's a 13. Basically, there are 3 raises worth of, sort of 2 raises worth of information I can give you. So
back up to a 14.
Which is 2 raises.
We're up to a 15.
Yep. Oh, we're up to a 15, which is still 2 raises, which means a success and 2 raises, which is absolutely fine. Which is my way of translating this over. So
Victor's using a penny. What for?
Oh, Victor's using a penny.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, actually, I must admit, you're 1 point short from 3 raises, which you don't actually need, but that's my point. Okay, so you get all the information with two races. So meeting Agnes and her child and obviously to Hugo reminds you of old folks' tales about trolls and changelings. Trolls live in communities where they brew beer, keep livestock, get married, and have their own traditions. Although they hate everything about the Christian religion, trolls can sometimes exchange favors and tools with humans. There have been cases where trolls have snatched a baby from its cradle and left a changeling in its stead, which is obviously what Johan was talking about. Trolls can look a lot like humans, sometimes even beautiful, but there's always some detail that gives them away. Christian symbols cannot be brought into the dwelling of a troll unless the bearer first turns their clothes inside out and walks backwards through the entrance while also speaking backwards, as if to convince the property that they are leaving. Trolls can be driven off through Christian rituals, for example, by placing a cross in their dwellings. Children can be protected from trolls by baptizing them. To get a stolen human baby back from the trolls, they must be appeased in some way. Another method is to threaten to harm the troll changeling left by the trolls.
Interesting.
Right, so we need to take the troll
I
baby as a
assume I have a
hostage.
cross around my neck, or I'll wear some sort of
Yes. Yeah.
trappings.
The important bit is obviously if any of that is true, and the legends. Obviously, this is all theoretical and legends to you because none of you, to my knowledge, have run into trolls before. We may have a situation where Victor will actually have to basically put all his clothes on inside out, walk backwards, talking backwards to get into the front door of a troll property. But I'm sure you won't have. I'm sure it's all.
Oh, okay. So it's not necessarily that when I was just wondering if did the child react when I was near it with a crucifix.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Johan has encountered trolls.
Has he?
Well, at least he thinks he has. Johan's background says that after he was in on the losing side in the battle, he was lying on a cart packed with corpses. The creatures that were caring for him were strange looking, and he believed they were trolls.
Oh, yeah, but they are then. You believe that explains why you knew so much about changelings.
Yeah.
There you go. But anyway, anyway, it's getting quite late in the day, really. It's almost time for dinner.
Shall we see?
I say we go back, and I would like to. I'd like to see the child again.
Well, if the stories about trolls there are true, particularly about Christian symbols can't be brought into a troll's house or into the presence of a troll. We've kind of already debunked that because we've taken a priest into a room with what we believe is a troll child.
Well, I don't know that I was ever close enough to it to see if there would be a reaction.
Yeah.
But so that's what I would plan on doing. I have some holy water with me.
Yeah.
I don't wish to harm the troll child, but I would.
I think before we
I would like to apply it to the child.
Before we go and see the priest, which we probably have to do in the morning, we should go and have dinner. I think we draft a letter and just ask my cousin to sign it, saying that it's going to help us with our. We need something to help us with our investigations. We'll need his signature on it, and the letter is basically saying that he agrees to Agnes's release. I have a feeling he may be too distracted to even read it before he signs it if we present it correctly. And then Victor goes to see the child and tests our theory that he might be a troll. And if he is indeed a troll, that's when we then maybe go and visit that village. The insular village that's in the middle of nowhere where they keep themselves to themselves and have strange ways that aren't Christian. And is probably full of trolls.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be a place for the trolls that teach you how to sing troll songs.
Exactly.
Can I have notice checks as you start heading back to the Kaiserling residence, please? Someone's even more addicted to epic RPG than me.
Epic RPG.
Have you not noticed? I put a game on my Discord channel.
Oh, is that the Discord, the new bot you put on there? Is it?
It's strangely addictive. The other one's a bit stranger. I'm not sure about that one. But my iPad keeps beeping, and I'm just no, it's not my MacBook's.
You forgot to turn off notifications, didn't you?
No, I have. Well, it must be on my Mac or something. It's on my iPad or my Mac. I can hear it bleeping, and every time I check, it's because you've just gone hunting.
Sorry.
I don't mind. Don't worry about it. I keep getting the quest to go and kill the monster that you can only kill in the adventure just after I've done the adventure, so the quest expires before I get to jump.
You should convert it to fancy ground.
Anyway, so yes, let me see. Well, Anders got a raise, and Blender got the raise, which is what I'm after at the moment. As you're approaching the residence, you hear the two of you hear raised voices. It appears to be definitely a confrontation between well, what you recognise as I know the wet nurse and a male voice you do not recognise. But it's basically sounded. It sounds like what you hear is all you hear. It's a bit faded here and there, and it's basically something about demand and church and exorcism, and the wet nurses
Is
shout.
Yola the big voice wearing a fancy hat?
You're not there yet. You're at the end of the street, and only Anders and Blender can hear it this far away above the hubbub of the stuff, and you could just hear Aino's voice very strongly basically protesting in every way and saying the master isn't here and he cannot be allowed to enter the property. And as the rest of you get closer and make your non-race notice checks, you see a rather large, brawny figure stomping away from the house, and a rather shaken up Aino rather, just closing the door. The large figure disappears into the dimming, because obviously you're up north. Oh no, it's summer now, so it's actually going to be midnight sun. Into the surprisingly not dimming at all, because I just forgot you're very far north and it's summer.
Before he doesn't disappear into not dimming light, Johan will call out, "Father Cornelius, I believe."
If Father Cornelius, who you believe that may have been, hears you, he makes no sign of it and continues striding off. And the next second, he disappears as a carriage crosses the road between you and him. And by the time it clears, he appears to have disappeared down one of the side streets.
Can we follow his trail?
He'll be returning to the church. I would imagine.
I know he's just closed the door, but as you approach it, you see a look of relief upon her faces as you all return, saying, "Oh, I am glad to see you back. We had an unpleasant visitor."
Father Cornelius, I believe.
Indeed, he wanted to take the child with him.
Christen the child?
He wanted to perform exorcisms upon it.
I'm gonna put some wax on my moustache.
My dear lady, if anyone needs to remove the child from this house, please allow it to be us. If we decide he needs to be removed for the safety of the Count's heir, we will ensure that young Edward comes to no harm. He's very carefully not lying to Aino.
Now, Erinsberg is the German name of a Kusar, a town and municipality on the island in Stone. Okay, yeah, which is fine. I'm just curious how far north that is actually, because I'm just thinking about this bloody adventure. I think they've done. I'm not sure if they've done something that's really rather annoying. There's a whole plot. There's a whole thing. It's like, oh, when this happens, it's like, well, yeah, it's that far north, and they've set it in the height of summer. Okay, cool. That's a big island. Oh, there's Estonia. Oh no, actually no, it's not that far north. It's in line with Scotland, so it's not as far north as I thought. It's in line with it's in line with Gothenburg and the top of Denmark and Aberdeen. That's okay then. It will get dark relatively early, even it will get dark even in summer. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're not far enough north of midnight sun and all that. So anyway, indeed, I know. Thanks you. Hugo appears to basically. She's the master. I'm afraid I had to. The only way I got rid of Father Cornelius was to lie and say that Master Hugo was. Sorry, Count Hugo was not in the property. I'm afraid that he was basically hesitant and differing and almost basically absolutely refused to make a decision either way. I'm not sure what would have happened if I hadn't intervened. I suspect he would have just stood there while Father Cornelius marched inside and walked out with the child. I think the loss of his wife is shaking up more than he wishes to admit, sir.
I believe it has. We will talk with him over dinner.
Dude.
You seem somewhat stressed, Mistress Ino. Perhaps you should allow us to see to the care of the Count's heir for the evening, as long as he's been fed.
I shall be giving him his last feed shortly. Yes.
And you should return home for the night. Where is it?
Oh no, I can't do that. I only return home on Sundays to see my children.
Where is it you live, Mistress Ino?
Here in Erinsburg. Yeah, where is the bit about her? She basically, yeah. I know wetness. She was born on this island. She's basically.
We have the best interests.
I imagine actually sorry to cut across you there. I am thinking about it logically. She probably doesn't live in the city. She probably lives in sort of it's not like a suburb, but like you know how you have sort of smaller. I mean, modern an outlying village, yeah. Okay, I mean, modern parlance, right. Yeah, which is why she goes on a Sunday.
Yeah, never mind. We can't get rid of her then. That's fine.
You're trying to get rid of her.
Totally was.
What an evil GM I am, not getting you. But I do believe someone did have a question earlier that they may have an opportunity to ask now.
Yes, I did want to ask her before she leaves. Have you? When were you hired? And have you done wet nursing before?
Do you know what? I know she has because I read it earlier, but I can't see it now. I know she has. Where is it? Arrival, catastrophe locations, then test the residents. I've lost it. I know she has. She's been a wet nurse for a number of families. And yeah, she's worked as a wet nurse for various families in the town. So it's basically what she does. So I don't know how long she's been a wet nurse or for, if she's going home to see her children. But I imagine what happens is she moves around. Obviously, being a wet nurse, there's got to be, it's probably a time-sensitive thing as well, isn't it? Because obviously, there's only so long until she can't provide milk anymore. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know how it would work, but I imagine there is some system in place that basically, she would have been. She's obviously a trusted wet nurse for families of a certain social class, and obviously, probably one of them recommended her when Eduard was born, and obviously, she was available because she would probably stop acting as wet nurse to some other child. But yeah.
Have you ever heard of such things before?
What? Trolls and changelings, do you mean?
No, I'm not
Oh, sorry.
using those words, but
Yeah.
of a child, an uncannily precocious child, and that should be baptized.
Well, obviously, we, there are many things that will prey on innocent children, and therefore should be protected at the first opportunity. Therefore, that's why I wanted to put protective runes around the pillowcase when the poor child wasn't protected by God.
What runes would you suggest?
They would have been obviously she starts talking, and you would reckon with your knowledge of occult and then like that, they would have been sort of local pagan runes of protection that obviously go back to beliefs before Christianity and all.
Okay.
You get the distinct impression, in her opinion, that they're not as good as being protected by a being baptized, christened, depending what you want to call it. But they would have at least offered some form of protection.
What do you think a baptism will do right now?
The child would be protected.
All right. Let's baptize it. I'm sorry, I missed that.
No,
I
it was
can't
me
hear
just
you.
thinking. That was me just think. That was me just thinking things through in my head there. Trust players to go and do the one thing. Well, to be honest, I always figured you were going to do this, so it's not a problem. Just trying to remember where it is. So, yes.
Let's get that devil out.
Or are you going to get Hugo's permission? Or are you just going to do it? No, you can have dinner first.
Right now, I'm just trying to get her reaction when you say that.
She doesn't seem to have it. Well, no one's mentioned changelings or trolls in front of her, have they? So
No.
she's all in favour of it.
My dear Victor, perhaps we should at least have dinner at the proper time with my cousin.
Oh, of course.
And
Of
acquire
course.
the letter of which I spoke earlier.
Excellent.
Just trying to find the bit where it's happened.
And once we're out of earshot of Ino and not quite yet into dinner, saying perhaps we should test our theory that the child is indeed a troll before we take the step to actually baptize him. Trolls are.
Oh, I agree. I was just trying to see if she was perhaps the child's protector. If the child is indeed a changeling.
I think her protestations of Christianity are quite real. And if the child really is a troll, trolls are not evil creatures, I believe. I have encountered them in the past, I'm sure, and they cared for me when I was injured. I would not see this child hurt if it is indeed a troll. Rather, I would see the real Edward returned and this child taken back to its own kind.
Victor just gives him the hairy eyeball. I question your basis for that, but perhaps you can explain at length how you came to these beliefs. My experience is that my faith in Christianity protects me from all manners of evils. and those who are affected by the trappings of that faith tend to be against God. But tell me more.
Well, tell me, Victor. There are those amongst the church. There are those amongst the church that believe they are affected adversely by the trappings of the church. After all, are you not a Lutheran? Did you not turn against the Catholic Church, for the trappings of the Catholic Church harmed you and harmed those of similar traits to yourself? If not physically, at least you saw that there was an injustice in the way that the church worked and acted. And so you have formed your own different yet similar faith.
Yes, but
does this not make
there
you
is a large difference
does this not make you at least one Christian church?
No,
It
I
does
would
not.
call it. I would not say that there's enmity there. Difference of opinion
Sure, there are those
can
who don't
cause
agree with you.
can cause psychic harm, but that's certainly different than being set on fire by placing a crucifix upon your flesh.
And yet, if we go
Let's
back
not conflate the two.
if we go back to the days not so long ago of the Inquisition, I've read of some interesting things that they did in Spain. A burning brand in the shape of a cross will burn anyone's flesh. And yet those with enough money would be set a trial with a piece of cake instead. Just because something is different does not make it evil, Victor.
Oh, I'm not claiming that. Far from it. But I cannot deny when holy water repels those who have come back to life from the dead. I cannot deny when a crucifix holds off spirits.
You cannot deny what you see
I
with your own
cannot
eyes.
deny. Yeah. I cannot deny that the peal of the church bells held back the horde of ghouls and saved an entire village. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I am deeply suspicious of that which is physically affected adversely. Presentations of faith.
The power of the Almighty in no way ensures that that which it is affected by is evil. Perhaps the peal of the bells, perhaps the faith of the faithful are merely a weapon. My sword will harm anyone that I choose to plunge it into, and yet it does not harm those I choose not to plunge it into. Maybe your faith is a weapon given to you by the Almighty, and it is your belief that that which you see as demonic will be harmed is what actually causes the harm. As a man of science, as well as of faith, surely you have considered this.
Yes, I have. I have, but my faith is different than the sword. In that which I apply holy water to myself or you, It is different than me applying a sword to myself or you. Do you see
Johann,
the distinction?
perhaps. But I may draw my sword and lay the flat of the blade upon someone. That is different to me laying the edge of the blade upon them.
Are you saying that if I believe that someone is evil, that I apply the holy water or the crucifix in a different manner?
Physically, perhaps not. I'm saying that perhaps it is not just the water itself or the crucifix itself, but the belief of the person that wields it.
Where is Father Cornelius? Because
He's bugged
Agnes
off.
asked us to go and see Father Cornelius. Have we been to see him yet?
It's not the well. It wouldn't normally be the time of day for calling on people. We're about to have dinner, but going
Okay.
after dinner wouldn't be unreasonable.
Let's have our grub and then go and see him.
Yeah.
And steal the baby. And hold it to ransom to the trolls.
That's the ultimate idea, yeah. But damn it, we're having a theological and philosophical.
Oh, sorry. I
conversation.
just, these theological discussions always get me hungry. And where's the wet nurse?
Well, I pat my ample belly and say, I could also. And I will ponder your points, Johann.
I think I shall have to give you all bennies for some interesting roleplay there, especially the timely interruption by Anders, which I thought was very appropriate. Okay, well, dinner is a sumptuous.
Don't choke.
Dinner is a sumptuous occurrence. It's quite a light dinner. It's over in a couple of hours, which means it's probably gone 9 o'clock by the time dinner is complete.
Well, when we retire to the drawing room for brandy and cigars,
Yeah.
I'm going to draft a basically permission for Agnes to be released from the sanatorium, asking to use Hugo's writing desk, and request that he puts his signature and seal on this paper, as it will help us no end with our investigation in ensuring that both his wife and heir are safe.
Yeah, so you're in twilight. The sun will be setting in about 20 minutes. That
Yeah.
could be the power of the internet.
We're in twilight. Sparkly vampires.
You're in the twilight phase, apparently,
Ah.
of the sunshine duration.
Yeah, not the
according to
sparkly
website
vampire
updates.
phase, hopefully.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to try and get him to just sign this, because it's going to help us out in making sure his wife and heir are safe. And get him to sign and seal it. So we've got that, and I'll sort of make not light of it, but if he doesn't read it, all the better.
The only thing I would point out is although it is admirable and reassuring that you want to get poor Agnes out of the sanatorium, you do then have an added problem that you're going to have the fact that you're going to have to keep trying to stop Agnes from wandering off and finding a baby, which is why she keeps trying to escape the sanatorium.
Well, I did speak with her. I told her that I was going to ensure her child's safety, and if I get to talk to her again, I will tell her she's coming out on the grounds that she leaves finding the baby to us.
Yeah, I can guarantee you probably won't go for that one, but that's by the by. We'll worry about that later.
That's just it. If she doesn't,
the Victorian era, and I expect any woman I tell to do something to do it.
and if she doesn't follow through, then she just gets put back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, exactly. Don't worry. I'm just trying to ascertain assumptions. Okay, so as I say, it's near, the sun's nearly set by the time dinner's finished. But as I say, I think Anders was on the impression of marching down to finding the priest at this time of night. but it's up to you what you want to do.
Well, if it's 9 o'clock, it'll be just about time for evensong.
Probably, yeah.
So it's the Russian Orthodox Church. If you can stand the incense, he'll be in the church. Johann would like to go with Victor up to see the boy and test the troll theory. And Johann has a inkling in the back of his mind that this child is still an innocent, and therefore it might not affect him anyway. But we'll see.
If it's a changeling and it's just a child, maybe it's innocent either way.
That's kind of Johann's theory. That the child is born innocent.
Yeah.
Even beasts are not necessarily born inherently evil, and therefore the holy water may have the holy water might not have an effect, even if Victor believes that it should. But then again, maybe Victor in the back of his mind may have it's a child, it's an innocent, and therefore it wouldn't work. Going back to our conversation before dinner, but
the age-old paladin versus goblin child argument.
Exactly.
Anyway, so okay, so
well,
yeah,
I'll put it this way: I even if I do think, Victor thinks it will work, but he's certainly not going to sit there and torture the child with a crucifix, which is what he believes that the exorcism may entail, which is entirely unnecessarily. I mean, he just wants to know more about what's child, so he's not going to torture it. He's just going to try and figure out if it does react to Christian
from
symbols.
From a scientific angle, if it does react, that gives us proof positive that it's a troll changeling, or at least it's a changeling.
Right, but that doesn't mean he's on board for an exorcism.
Yeah, but we could do that while Anders goes to evensong and has a word with the priest.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, actually, don't forget. So I just wanted to check. I just wanted to check the facts before I said this, and it looks like right. Obviously, exorcism is obviously very much a part of the dogma of the Catholic Church, and it would appear, obviously, if this adventure is correct, the Russian Orthodox Church. But obviously, Lutherans and Protestants did not believe in exorcism.
No.
Well, you don't know about the Southern Baptists.
Well, I said as a rule.
Well, that's a recent thing with them.
Is it?
So
have they started it?
It's an American thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. I think any group of people that get their own mind together for too long, they'll come up with anything, won't they?
Right.
And that's the nicest. I'm not going to go down and push too many buttons on that one. So, Wetness, William, Cornelius will have to wait. And this is Wetness hunting work. Okay. Well, obviously, I know we'll be basically tending to the babies. Obviously, her quarters are adjacent to the babies, so if the baby cries in the night, she can look after it. I'm on the assumption she's also the nanny as well as the wet nurse, as it were. So this adventure doesn't tell me otherwise. So, but yeah, unless the baby is unduly disturbed, you shouldn't have any issues.
And yeah,
Oh, God.
Sorry,
I just understood. No, sorry, Anders. You, I just reread that and realised what he means. Okay. As the rest of you head upstairs, you hear a very loud slap.
What? My persuasion roll didn't work.
And Anders will obviously emerge with a slightly pink cheek, possibly with finger marks attached to the bruising upon the cheek.
Can you do them first? I got to take a quick bio break.
Certainly. Actually, yes, I think a bio break might be a good thing. Should we have a 5-minute be right back? Ciao.
Righto.
CO2 emissions in this country since 2010 on 1990 levels by 42%. 42%. That is an astonishing achievement.
Well, it would be if it were true, but it's just another lie. CO2 emissions fell by 39% between 1990 and 2018, not from 2010 onwards.
The economy under this Conservative government has grown by 73%.
Another lie. In the period since 2010 and prior to the pandemic, it was about 20%. The 73% he's referring to is for the whole period since 1990, 13 years of which was under Labour governments.
We've restored the nurses' bursary.
Another lie. A maintenance grant for student nurses is not a return of the student nurses' bursary. Thanks to the Conservative government scrapping the nurses' bursary, they still have to pay extortionate tuition fees.
Since 2010.
Thousands of pounds in debt.
And ensure there will be a free hospital car parking for everybody who attends a hospital.
Just another lie. People in relative poverty in the UK has increased from 13.6 million in 2010 to 14.5 million in 2019. Claim that 400,000.
I've got the coughs today. Particularly throat coughs, not ill coughs, I hasten to add.
Not got the dreaded COVID.
Have you?
No. I said,
No.
you've not got the dreaded COVID.
I've not got the dreaded. I don't know. As I was walking around Sainsbury's with a persistent tickly cough, I thought, how many people are thinking I've got it? Especially as
People giving you dirty looks.
Yeah, especially as I was.
Yeah, the
walking
best thing to
around
do is to
with
get on the tube and just start coughing like mad. Everyone just clears off and gives you a seat. It's really good.
cough.
Yeah, it was like at the beginning of COVID, we were speculating it's going to be worse than the Salem witch hunts. Every time somebody has a cough, they're all going to be coming for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much this opinion that everyone's pretty much everyone's had their jabs. Unless I'm actually going up and coughing in people's faces and yada yada yada, I'm not going to wear a mask except where I have to, like on the buses or on the tube, which I don't go on, so it doesn't matter. So if I'm walking around Sainsbury's coughing, I'm wondering how many dirty looks I got. Yeah. My view on the whole mask is if we don't actually stop wearing them, they'll become the norm, and we'll never stop wearing them. That makes sense. At least that's what I've been told.
But then our immune systems will never be immune to anything.
Well, to be honest, they don't do that much anyway, do they? I mean, the whole point of a mask is to stop you infecting someone else. It doesn't really protect.
I've seen a geezer on the tube. I've seen a geezer on a tube pull his mask down, sneeze, and then put the mask back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a clever idea.
Well, and that's exactly because the mask is supposed to be when you sneeze or cough.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's done the exact opposite. Yeah, he pulled it down, sneezed, and then put it back on again. It's like that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do, you moron.
Totally self-defeating right there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's the people who walk around with the mask over their face, leaving their nose uncovered. That winds me up as well.
Or keeping their chin warm. That's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask and you don't have to anymore, don't.
I wear a mask because around here nobody's masking anymore. Mask mandates, but the new variant's starting to just go everywhere.
Yeah.
But I continue to wear my mask because, paranoid people stay the hell away from me, and I like that.
Fair enough.
It does.
Fair enough.
Just tend to scare up the crazies.
Yeah, because just tell them you've been vaccinated, because there's a whole new thing going on about the people who've been vaccinated are shedding proteins that make unvaccinated people infertile and all that other crazy crap. The crap that people come out with. You know what I mean?
I like the ones that go on. I like the ones that go on things like Newsmax and stuff, and showing them that the vaccine has magnetized them, and they try to get something to stick in there. And they actually did this in a hearing in Ohio with the state senate. These people were testifying before the Ohio state government about the vaccines being bad, and she was there desperately trying to get that spoon to stick to her skin, and it was like, all right.
Oh, that's an old scam. That's an old scam. It's you have to have moist skin, and it gets it. That's how it's.
Yeah, so there's oils in the skin but it still won't hold like a magnet will.
Yeah, but what you're supposed to do is get some super glue, stick it on the coin, and put it right in your nose, and leave it there, and then pull it off really hard.
Ow.
And it takes off part of your nose, and then you go, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face. I mean, at the end of the day, as we all know, I've just come up with brand new conspiracy theory here now for us all now. See how quickly it trends and goes viral. Obviously, you heard it here first. Obviously, the real reason the government wanted us all injected with the COVID virus is now we all become 5G transmitters, so they don't need to put masks up.
Yeah, Dan.
Well, I've been hearing that.
See, that's a really good idea. I believe that could be true. That could be true. I'm going to go with that one now. I believe it. Yeah.
That one's been going around here for a while.
No, this is the one that 5G masks cause COVID. My one is we've all been injected to turn us into 5G masks, so they don't have to build them, and we can all just
we're improving the mobile network.
End of weird conspiracy theories. This has been going on forever here. I believe me, they've started that. The biometric trackers. There's a little tracking device because for some reason Bill Gates wants to track every freaking idiot on the planet. Who knows? I mean, I've heard a dozen. When COVID started and we got the anti-maskers and the anti-vaxxers, it's like maybe if you convince the people who believe COVID is no big deal, is that the worst effect of the COVID virus is it turns you into a freaking bleeding heart progressive liberal. They'll be lining up for the damn vaccine.
Well, just wait till that
So,
last tick. So in the meantime, the best one I ever heard about why vaccinations are evil is because it's a government ploy. Every vaccination contains the ability to rewrite your DNA. So once you've been vaccinated against anything, your DNA is rewritten to classify you. So the government of your country can then classify you as non-human because your DNA's been altered and you're no longer human, and therefore it's not illegal for them to murder you.
Oh, well, we have a woman who actually claims to be a doctor here, and her two most controversial things is that modern medicine uses alien DNA in vaccines. So there's that. But it's her whole demon sperm thing.
Alien demons. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
No, the demon sperm is totally separate from the alien. This woman, but she's actually a physician, and she actually has.
You know that mental illness affects everyone, even if they're doctors.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
And I always took some great advice once when I was concerned that my doctor wasn't, is that you do realize that half of all doctors graduated in the bottom half of their class.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone hasn't ticked the back box, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's the most scary statistic I ever uncovered, I have to admit, is 100% of people die.
Well, her name is Stella Emmanuel.
Really? 100% of people die?
Apart from Walt Disney, of course, he was frozen, wasn't he?
Oh, he's dead.
Okay, 9 o'clock. It's. So, what's your plan? Obviously, Anders' plan.
Anders' plan is now to go and see Cornelius. I've got a I'll rub a little slight bruise on my cheek.
Cornelius will be holding Compline at the moment.
Cornelius will be doing what to who?
He'll be doing Compline. It's the prayers that happen at 9 o'clock.
Oh, well, I obviously would know that, but yeah. I didn't know people prayed at a certain time of day. But I do now.
So, obviously, Anders has just left the nursery with a slightly reddened cheek, possibly. Depends how noticeable other people are. What are the rest of you up to?
To do the troll test.
The troll test. Okie dokie. I want to do the troll test.
Yep.
Dip litmus paper in holy water. Put the litmus paper on the troll.
Right. If it turns pink, it's a troll. Actually,
holy water would be.
Well, no, it can't be a troll. Right, we're in Northern Europe, yeah, and this kid has got brown hair. It's not got like neon pink hair or bright blue hair. It's a troll.
Right, it's Santa straight off the top of its head. It's not been in any animated movies either.
Yeah,
but it doesn't as much. But this child's parents has brown hair.
They're talking about those troll toys. Where do I want anyone know where they're? Oh, they now count as DreamWorks troll toys, apparently.
Yep, because of the animated movie.
Yeah, it looks like they all appear to be DreamWorks now, not the original trolls. I've forgotten about those troll toys.
So
they're Danish. They were Danish, apparently.
Oh, I like a good.
Also known as a dam doll, after the great Danish woodcutter Thomas Dam. Good luck trolls, or gonk trolls in the United Kingdom, apparently.
Yeah, that's I know about the term gonk from the Young Ones.
Yes,
because Neil had a gonk. He kept on calling it gonk. Why is he calling his doll a dog? Figured out that that's what he meant.
It's a long time since I've seen the young ones. Look out, Cliff!
Yeah.
Right,
I
the
pulled
troll
out my
test.
Donkey Gonk. Anyway.
Gentle risotto. No, it's not, Neil. It's snow.
I do think I know that it's no different than the fact that I grew up watching Duke. Well, the A-Team and the Dukes of Hazzard, but it always strikes me as strange when you start, when you hear people from a completely different country talking about programs you watched in your past, thinking, "No, hang on, they're British. Why would you be watching it?" Not that it's just
it came on on Sunday night on MTV as part of a programming block that was aimed directly at college students. So,
yeah, I can imagine.
that was
MTV,
right up that time.
MTV, I can believe it would be right up MTV Street. That was really.
Yep.
Do not lean out a window. I wonder why. That's the one I've never forgot when Vivian just got his head decapitated by another train.
He kicks it down the train tracks. Yeah.
They're going to see Bambi, aren't they? They're going to see Bambi that episode.
Bambi 2, the video nasty. Anyway, so the troll test. You are going to perform some ritual in front of the child. Is that the plan, or are you going to just
Yeah. I'm going to start by leaning over him with my crucifix dangling out, show him my crucifix cleavage, and see if he reacts.
That's it, Victor. Show him your cross.
The little Edward stares up, smiling at it, the sparkling item as it dangles, and attempts to grab at it as it hangs down in front of him.
Okay, I'll let him touch it.
He grasps hold of it without any real problems at all.
And then I'll take a little bit of holy water and just rub it against his feet, the bottoms of his feet.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Since he's not walking yet.
In theory.
In theory.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So every time I lose it, I can't. There it is. No, I found it before.
Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? Are you sure about that?
Okay, I'm going to say that doesn't really have any real effect at all, other than the child sort of doesn't seem to like having its cold water applied to its feet.
All right. Do I know any rituals?
La 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 la.
Quite a few.
La 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 la.
So then I'm just gonna set about baptizing the child.
Oh well, yeah. Lethal Weapon's a load of old shit, really, but yeah.
Here goes nothing.
You wouldn't need to baptize it. You could just give it a blessing. That's still a ritual.
And how many sequels do they make to that crap?
Because we have been asked to not baptize it until the parents are present.
Even though Dad doesn't really want the baby baptized, and he kind of refused it.
He refused it until his wife is present because he was letting it happen for the sake of his wife.
Yeah, but when you spoke to his wife said that he refused it before, didn't he?
He didn't refuse it. He said he wanted to be there if it was happening.
Well, I mean, this is like the marriage before the marriage.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. That I am. Okie dokie. Does make things a little more interesting.
I'm gonna make him a good Christian troll.
Indeed. Well, as I say, the sun. It's
That map looks like it was done in Wonder Draft, doesn't it?
Right now will be the candlelight, obviously. As the sun has now set, and therefore it is darkness around the town, other than the odd street light here and there. So, yeah. So you can If you want to perform the ritual, we can do so.
Yep.
Okay. I wonder if an exorcism and a baptism is the same thing as far as the game's concerned. I'm going to say it is, even though that causes you no, especially because it causes all sorts of interesting issues later on. Okay.
Oh, great.
So, well,
Do you work today?
You just blew out the candles, looked at the moonlight, but that's too late.
I tell you what, if it is distressing the child, I will take that as proof, and I will stop doing it because I don't want to torture the
Oh
child.
no, it will not. It will not harm the. It will not harm it. Okay.
Luxury.
So, as
You've already
start
made an
performing
after character,
the,
didn't you?
Ritual. It does not harm the child, but it is suddenly forced into its true form. Okay, so it does tell me somewhere what its true form looks like.
Yeah,
you
you
actually
did. You have a no? What did Michelle had a?
After the sun has set.
Did you make the insect guy or did you make a Hulot? Yeah, you made the Hulot guy, the big guy, didn't you?
Yeah, any characters watching the child after dark as moonlight shining through the window.
I think we'd try
so
that before we start doing
the ritual. The child suddenly quivers, and the features are twisted. All of a sudden, the boy has dark eyebrows, marked facial features, and budding horns protruding from his hairline. He's still quite calm as you're performing the ritual, and now he's happily playing with his long tail. At that point, he basically stops in fright and basically leaps out of the I've lost it, but leaps out of the cot, straight up the wall and onto the ceiling, out through the open window.
Oh God, strange funny.
Can I attempt to interrupt that?
You can try.
What do you want me to do?
Be in athletics.
Victor stands as slack-jawed and says, "I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I should not have been."
I'm going to have to create a changeling.
I'll Benny that. Again.
Blenda would do the same thing because she's been keeping a pretty close eye on this baby. So I'm going to, between the two of us, one of us will win.
Are you happy with a 5?
I'll Benny it one time because I got tons of Benny in.
You do indeed. Oh, crud.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to spend a lot of bennies now, aren't I?
Hang on a second. Where are you?
He's rolling a D10.
Oh, twice it's rolled off the 10.
Blueberry. Here he is. Blueberry.
I spent all my bennies here. This really does.
Hey,
Yes!
If nothing else, Blenda made you burn all your frickin' bennies. She's good like that.
No, you got a
Brawny
11,
brute
didn't you?
luck.
Okay, well, really annoying because the whole adventure doesn't work if you captured the.
Yeah.
Okay,
Blueberry got his name from previous Pelotaric, and you'd like to come cover the blueberry.
Oh well, yeah, okay. Okay, well that makes things really interesting. So you have captured a troll child.
Yeah, there you are. You got your character made. You got a knife with a rock and chain to swing around your head.
That's what she does.
Thank you, Mrs. Lindbergh. Well, now we know.
And now we're going to wrap this baby up really tight in a blanket like Swat.
You see that? I've got 2 instances of Fantasy Grounds running. I'm on someone else's table while I've got my table up.
Because we want to
I suggest we try and find a night carriage to take us to the village.
Are we to leave here with this baby?
If we want
I don't know if did the screen go wonky?
I believe we'll find him in the village. Did not the legend say we could either persuade the trolls to exchange or threaten injury to the troll child?
It's going to be really short
adventure. Injury to a child is.
And we've got the child, and the child is now helpless in our hands. So we've got the ability to make the clear threat that if they
would not want to threaten the child, but returning the child in exchange for the other would seem the reasonable.
Oh, well, maybe I don't know.
Do
But yeah,
on the sly and not let
It works for me. I don't know if I don't care if it works for you or not.
I just trying
Well,
to figure out
that's
what
why we're just
parameters
going to
here.
kind of walk outside. We're not going to
Oh,
tell
it was
them.
on
We're
another
going to make
monitor
sure
as
we're
well,
good to
so
go.
it probably
All right. What about the
What are
witness?
you
it
going to do
probably
to the
was
witness?
yeah. This,
Well, the witness
the
is in the
monitor
other
the
room.
monitor on this side is 4K, and the monitor on this side is 2K.
Yeah, and
So the-
unless we walk past either
I had
of
the
them,
after on the
neither
2K
of them
monitor.
is going to know that we've
That's
walked
why
out
it
with the
probably
baby.
looks shit. But yeah.
We've just
And
left.
They're going to be going to bed.
And I've got this baby pretty well wrapped here. The baby
How are you going to get to this village?
We're going to use my money to hire a night carriage, or since the count will have one, we'll go and set the carriage up ourselves.
So you're not even going to confront Father Cornelius at all.
Are we going to go and see him or not? Yeah, I'm still like.
Pardon? No, it's my fault. My fault. I tried to and dragged out the adventure over a couple of days for once instead of you solving it in one night. And what happens instead? You catch the kid you're not supposed to catch because I'm nice. I should have just said no, you can't. It leaves, and now you get to skip the whole section. So it's all my fault. Anyway, okay. So you're heading to Barley Village.
No, because Anders has been to the church already. We're going to get the.
Yeah, I was already heading that way, wasn't I? I said the wet nurse was not willing, so I.
Well, obviously, you're going to pick him up on the way. You don't need to see Father Cornelius because you've solved half the problem. He's obviously, he is a potential adversary. While you think the child isn't is human, but obviously you've already come to the conclusion he isn't. So, obviously, the church service will still be going on at the point you're ready to leave the house.
Yes, but we're going to wait for Anders to come back. Or we can go and wait outside the church.
Yeah. Let's
I think you should come and. I think you should come and get me, or and say, don't bother with that muppet. Let's go in a.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not sit outside the house with the troll baby.
Well, since we've now got proof that the troll baby is a troll baby, we could go via the sanatorium, hand over the letter that lets us get Agnes, say, look, we've got a changeling, we're going to get your child, you want to come with us?
I really do. You wouldn't be able to get into a sanatorium at this time of night.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go and pick Anders up, but if Anders wants to talk to the priest first, we'll certainly let him.
Well, if you catch up to me and tell me what's happened, I won't bother with the priest.
No. Let's not worry about that. We shall ignore the fact that in real life you would be holding a service and just see what happened when Anders. Well, you see, I got confused because Anders didn't move himself on the map. So how was I to know? Was it the church?
Ah, yeah.
Oh, I did say if she's not willing, I'm going to the church. But yeah.
Well, that'll still show you in the house. So how would I know you? You see, that's what it takes for me to know where you are. Yeah?
I'm terribly sorry.
I'm going to give everyone else a better accept you.
I was there the whole time. You just didn't notice. Your map obviously didn't update in time. Some kind of delay, feedback, latency.
The church is surrounded by a stone wall, inside which is a small garden with a paved pathway made of stone with 2 onion domes. The church was built in the 18th century and is known for its collection of icons.
I'm an investigator.
Okay. Father Cornelius. Where is he? There is Father Cornelius. He's
Rasputin.
He's in his late 40s, priest of the Russian Orthodox Church. He's originally he's originally from the Russian capital of St. Petersburg. As I say, so he's basically I'll say when you get the service just finished. The congregation is quite large, and a large number of Russian worshippers are leaving the church when you arrive. When you introduce yourself and explain the reason you're here, he appears to be quite happy to talk about his relationship with Agnes. And the other thing you notice is as he takes you to his study area, there seems to be quite a lot of you get the impression he's obviously a painter, probably of icons, judging by the amount that can be found in his studio.
Oh, right, icons. He's one of those Russians, is he? Right, okay.
He explains that one day Agnes found him passed out in a church park after many hours of painting. She helped him to his feet and gave him some water, and that was the start of their friendship. Agnes is very interested in religious matters, and the two of them have had long conversations during their walks in the church park.
And
3 months
does his hair the same colour as the trolls?
It doesn't say. Probably black. Looks black. I know it's a black and white portrait. 3 months ago, Agnes was accepted into the congregation of the church. And as I say, he's quite happy to talk all about Agnes and how, her.
So what does he think's going on with the baby? Because Agnes seems to think he'll know what to do.
Says the baby. I understand is Agnes is obviously looking forward to the birth of her child. It is unfortunate she is unwell now.
Wait. Looking forward to the birth of her child?
Well, she said Agnes was looking forward to the birth of her child. It's unfortunate.
Was looking forward to. Okay.
I was like, that's a last minute twist.
Yeah, I thought that was just a slip of the tongue as well, so I didn't say anything.
Yeah, sorry. I apologise. That was a mispronunciation of the English language on my part.
Us English people do that all the time. A notice check.
Only by those in the church. Oh, did you go with him, Brad?
Well, I came in to get him.
Oh, okay. Well, this is while you're this is all while the house stuff's going on. I've just decided to.
Oh, okay, my mistake. I thought you said we got there at the end of service and all this was going on. So
no, but I decided Anders got there at the end of the service.
I did walk there slowly for an after. I had to recover my ego after being slapped.
Yeah. So I apologise for the confusion. Let's see. You've got your occult's not too good. Make a research roll. Make a research roll because I know you're that's the type I think that's a good way of doing this one. Okay, so you do basically while talking to Father Cornelius in his study, you notice a bound copy of Ritual Roman. What's that? Ritual. It's not even a tongue twister. It's just my inability to use the words clearly all of a sudden. A book traditionally used for exorcisms.
Gary, I'll mention the book to him. I said, what are you using this book for? Was this for the child?
Again, the second mention of the child again is definitely sort of. I look up on his face and he goes, "What? No, it is purely just a book I keep in my study. I find studying books fascinating."
But when we arrived back at the house earlier, you were leaving and you'd just been trying to exercise the child. Apparently, what they told us, the staff said at the house.
Well, I believe they may well be mistaken. I do not. I do not. I don't.
Do I think he's lying?
Oh yeah, you're convinced he's lying.
Yeah, I think you're talking bollocks, mate. And I'll say that in the Victorian version of the word bollocks, which is testes.
Bolingbrookes, isn't it?
Yeah, Bolingbrookes. Yes, I think you're talking bowling. I think you're talking slingshots. Yes.
Yes, or fruits.
Yeah.
Dear sir, pull the other leg. I believe you will find it has bells upon
it. Exactly.
Yes.
He goes, right. Well, okay. I am I am convinced the von Kaiserling child is bewitched or possessed. And there's only one explanation for how evil found its way into the young couple: Hugo's unhealthy interest in pagan legends and songs, and the excessive amount of time he spent with the demonic infidels of Kali village. The demon must be expelled for the child to be saved, and for Agnes to be herself again. I intend to perform an exorcism on the baby as soon as possible, and with your help, we can save everyone.
Okay, right. Well, thanks for telling the truth at last. This could have cut a lot of crap out. I will get back to you soon, and I'm gonna just head out of the place and start walking back towards the house.
He goes, Mr. Anders, I do hope that you and your friends will not get in the way of God's work. Before God found me, I did live a tough life on the streets of St. Petersburg. I do not wish to resort to violence, but to save the soul of a child. I will. Good day, sir.
Okay. I'll just head on out there, you know, make sure my guns are not jammed. And start heading back towards the house.
At which point you see a... let's have notice checks from everybody, please, to see if you spot each other or you pass each other in the darkness.
I'm not going to make a notice check because I will probably be controlling the carriage badly.
Okay. Yes, very badly. Actually, it's driving, isn't it? A carriage.
I suppose it would be, but I don't have driving, so never mind.
Well, let's face it. No, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything important, so I wouldn't worry too much.
What are you lot doing in this carriage?
You can,
My lord, you should not be driving.
I'm sure you probably would have got the coachman to take you, logically speaking.
Actually, yeah, we probably would have done.
I think it would have been beneath you to drive the carriage.
Get in,
Okay.
Mr. Yarb. We will tell you as we travel.
Well, I'll get in
I
then.
hope the carriage is beneath them. It's not going to get very far if it's not.
But tish. Carly is the Carly village is Carly is a group of 9 craters in the area surrounding Carly village on the island. There have long been different theories regarding the origins of these craters, and obviously, definitely around here they're considered sacred. And archaeological excavations have shown they may once have been a place of rituals. But anyway,
How is Kali spelled?
Kaali.
Okay. I keep on thinking of
Kalima.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Kali village is located. I've lost it. On the edge of the crater area. It's about 2 hours coach journey. So it's going to be about midnight. It's going to be close to midnight by the time on narrow, bumpy roads. By the time you get towards the village, you really probably should wait until morning. You know.
We can't go back now, can we?
Indeed not.
Yeah.
As you start to approach Carly village, the coach suddenly hits a rock, veers off the road, flips over. Everyone needs to make agility checks or suffer a point of fatigue damage.
Agility or athletics?
Athletics. I did mean athletics, not agility. I apologise. Actually, to save a throw, it should be agility. I'll be nice and make it.
And I managed to hang on to the baby too.
Indeed. Basically, a failure results in a point of fatigue from bumps and bruises.
What is a failure? Below a 4?
Below a 4. So you're all okay.
Great.
Actually, should have been. Actually, thinking about it, it's the same process. It should be agility, but it's too late. I correct.
I did both, so I've got a 4 on each.
That's okay. Once back on your feet, you notice that, and obviously clambered out from the flipped over coach. You notice the coach has damaged a wheel, and one of the horses needs reshoeing. Notice checks, please.
Well,
yeah, this rock was not here by accident.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm impressed on people spending pennies on that food everyone else makes it. Anyway, needs reassuring. Looking around, you notice just off the other side of the road, a light that appears to be a blacksmith.
That appears to be what?
A blacksmith's.
Well, isn't
that
that
seems?
Isn't
that seems a little?
Isn't that lucky?
Like I said, this rock is not here by accident.
Shall we wander into the trap?
Oh, of course. How else can you spring it?
Yeah, like a Jedi.
It's obviously it's a blacksmith's. It's hot inside, and the blacksmith, even at this time of night, appears to be hard at work. But he does not seem the least bit tired. He stops and looks up from his work and introduces himself as Indrek. He's a tall, broad-shouldered. He's got wavy, rye blonde hair that curls against his shoulders. His hands are strong and marked by many years of hard work at the smithy. The only thing that mars his beauty is an ugly scar across his cheek.
Indrik, we need two things. We have a horse that needs a shoe, and we wish to speak to the original ancient inhabitants of this village. Can you help us with either? Perhaps both.
Well, indeed. Bring the horse in, and we'll see what we can. We'll see what we can do to fix the shoe. Says the fixing of the say. He obviously he looks outside, sees the overturned coach. He goes,
The mute button. Amazing.
That's not going to be resolved quickly. I would say that what you really need to do is you're going to need to spend the night. I would say a little further down the way there, you'll find the converted windmill. That's the Toll Jack Inn. They'll put you up.
Then I guess that is where we shall go.
But in the meantime, obviously, he seemed quite friendly. It's hot inside. He doesn't seem a bit tired. Yeah.
Does he come out to take a look at the cart?
He did look out. He did look out when he said he noticed the coach had flipped over. I did say he looked out at the coach and said that's going to take a little longer to fix. Because bring the horse in, bring the horse over here, and we'll fix the shoe.
Good sir, if you would perhaps help us extricate our luggage from the cart, and then we can lead the horse in.
He goes, it says, luggage? Well, luggage, I'm sure I wouldn't worry too much about that. We should look at the horse and get you bedded down for the night. But yeah, sure. Obviously, besides, don't you have people to help with that sort of thing?
There's a great deal of wreckage. It would be very kind of you to help us.
He goes, but judging by the way it's lying, you won't be able to get a lot of it out. The coach is lying on top of it all.
Indeed, but you look like a good, strong man between
That's
yourself
bollocks.
and myself and Rut here. Perhaps we might be able to at least write it enough that we can extricate the ladies' trappings from the carriage. You wouldn't want a lady to have to take her rest without a change of clothes now, would you?
Well, indeed, that's very true. Perhaps you would like to assist, so let's have some strength rolls, please, to assist.
And what Johann's trying to do here is getting Indrek out of the circle of light coming from the blacksmiths, so that we can see him after dark and not with any light.
Okay, so that's a +1. That's a +1 from Rut and a +1 from Johann. Blended is unable to help. Victor gives us +1.
Because she's trying to hold the baby with one hand and help with the other.
And a +2 from Anders, which gets us up to the maximum of +4. Indrek walks over through the trees and the cloudy sky and says, "Okay, on the count of 3," and obviously and then helps you push the coach upright. Okay, you get the coach upright.
Does he in any way appear to be a troll? As I'm looking out for that specifically.
And you don't. He doesn't. You don't see anything distinctive. Make a notice check if you're.
What do I know about cold iron and how it affects fairy and our troll's fairy?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if that cold iron. Actually, well, the troll. I'm not sure if cold iron really bothers them that much. If I'm honest. Let me have a quick search. Oh, of course, that would be too easy. There's nothing. My start menu doesn't work. I have. If I, when you just type something and then open it, that's decided it doesn't want to work like that anymore. Because that would be too easy, wouldn't it? I actually have to go and find the actual app now for some reason. I'll have to reboot it. It's obviously the start. I've never known anything be more annoying than Windows 10 start menus. Okay. Actually, yes, I do. Windows 11 start menus. Ugh. Oh, there it goes. Vaesen. Open that up. Actually, I could have done it. I forgot I got the universal module loaded. I could have opened it up. My computer's having a really bad sulk today.
What have you done to it?
I don't know. Well, I did bugger around with it to make Fantasy Grounds work properly.
Thank you, Daddy-O.
Let's try the game master section. And just search the reference manual. Oh, of course.
It is the mucus that binds us.
Of course. There is reference to it, but of course it's not going to actually let me... you're not going to bloody work, are you? Oh, here we go. Iron. There is a mention of iron in there, but it's on a page I can't actually read in the reference manual because the universal module does have the limitation it can't get round. Black iron fence, rusty iron door, iron bridge, black iron fence, environment. Nope, nothing at all about cold iron. Anyway, dosage checks. Anders. Apart from the fact that Indrik seems incredibly strong, and you get the distinct impression that he did most of the lifting on the coach there, you do think... I've lost it. You do think there may well... You do think there seems to be sort of... You could swear for a second you saw a tail, but you're not sure as he was lifting it up. But no,
Does he keep saying?
Indrik leads the horse back into the
asking
stick.
questions here. And
you garbled.
I mean that.
Discord garbled you, so I didn't catch that.
Oh, I was just asking. Does he say things like, "I'm just asking questions here, and why are you getting so upset?" That would indicate that he's a troll.
All right. Well, I don't. No, he seems perfectly. He seems perfectly happy and not at all reacting in any way to certain DreamWorks movies in any way, shape, or form, or any other. No, he seems very strong. In fact, he leads the horse back inside and he fixes the horseshoe with only a few strikes of the anvil. You could just try asking him, you know.
We could. I mean, Anders, are you going to let any of us know that you saw this tale?
Anders isn't really
this
sure.
This is Federally Round with Fantasy Grounds Academy.
Well, I did kind of hint when I first talked to him about
I did.
wishing to speak to the ancient original habit of this village.
You might have to persuade him to admit it, but you could.
My Indrik, you almost did that yourself. You must be as strong as a troll.
He smiles at that. He goes, "Yes, well, if you believe the legends of this area, then maybe I can understand why people would think that."
We do more than believe the legends.
We are the legends.
We have proof.
Indeed.
And we would like to speak to the original inhabitants of this village so that we might exchange one of their children for one of ours. Prefer to do it peacefully.
Well, let's. If a changeling has been put in place, that is because that is according to legends, at least. he smiles at the slight amendment he has to make there. That changelings are only put in place when someone has gone back on a promise or broken an oath.
Well,
and therefore to return the child would require honoring the original oath made.
all right, that's a level of detail that we would need to explore. Who would we talk to find
Well,
out
like
what
I
that
say,
oath
at
is and what was
this
broken?
time of night, I suspect that you really ought to just. You shouldn't be wandering around this late at night, especially after that such an unfortunate accident. And I would say you were lucky in that they told Jack in will happen to have enough beds to
Yes, I
bed you
even
down
wonder
for the
about the
evening.
fortuity of the accident, but that's neither here nor there. No one was injured.
Looking around the smithy as you're talking, you notice there's a large number of figurines, bowls, and candlesticks made from the dolomite rock found in the area. The objects are displayed on the shelves all over the smithy. Anders is the only one who again got. Anders is the only one who got the raise again. Anders, I'm going to use that on the same notice, is again the only one to notice that many of the figurines have coarse features, and in some cases, well, actually in most cases, tails.
Let us not dissemble any more, Indrek. The changeling is in danger.
He looks very concerned when you say that.
If the changeling remains where it is placed, or remains where it was placed.
Well, indeed, threatening to hurt a troll child would, of course, always is one way to get the real baby back. He subconsciously touches his cheek at that moment.
We're not threatening to harm it. We are pointing out that it is in danger's way if it remains where it is.
The best way to protect it is to exchange it for the original child.
Yes, there are those in the city who would kill this child.
His hand comes
because
away
they believe it is a changeling.
His hand comes away from his scarred cheek again and goes, "As I say, I think you really should spend the night in the Toll Jack Inn."
Fine.
But one thing to bear in mind is a young man's mind may be full of worldly ambitions, but he can sure sing and play. His renditions of old songs brought tears to the eyes of even the toughest of trolls. It is a shame he broke his promise.
So it was Daddy who broke the promise then?
Oh, yeah, I knew it was Daddy.
Yeah. What was his promise, Indrek? Please.
All the answers can be found after a good night's sleep.
Sigh. Okay, let us go and rest, my lord.
Indeed.
Yep.
The Toll Jack Inn is located in an old windmill by a small stream on the edge of the village near the 9 craters. It's the only inn in the village, apparently. When you arrive and step through the door, you are met by a warm and boisterous atmosphere. It smells pleasantly of freshly baked bread, beer, and sauerkraut. In booths with wooden benches and tables along the walls, the locals are enjoying good food and award-winning beer. Piglets, chickens, and baby goats walk freely between the tables. A group of musicians are just finishing their performance and sitting down to have some mashed potatoes with sauce of smoked pork, milk, and flour. That you do notice a booth to enter. Obviously, when I say when you all arrive at the end and step through the door, I do mean everyone except Victor, who basically finds it impossible to enter the premises, as if an invisible wall stops him.
So, let me see if I do this right. I can't strip down here. Would one of you send the proprietor here?
remove your cross, Victor.
I know I need to do more than that, at least according to legend. How about if I just take my jacket, put that on inside out, and speak backwards? Remove my religious trappings and speak backwards and walk backwards to the door. See if that's enough.
So you're taking your jacket off, turning it inside out, putting it on again, removing your cross, walking backwards into the inn.
And my what is it, the vicar's collar or whatever it is?
Yeah. Nope, doesn't work.
So, well, I might have a cold night ahead of me.
Remember, it was remove all your put all your clothes on inside out, walk backwards into the building while talking backwards.
Yeah, I knew it was all my clothes.
You only turn your jacket inside out.
So step around the corner, and I will provide you with some guardian while you do strange things with your clothes.
Sure. That's what I was worried about. I do not want to get changed in public.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Johan will escort Blender inside, and I will suggest to Blender that we make sure that the child is visible.
Is there a stable here?
I'm still going to be heavily swaddled. I mean,
I'd keep it swaddled from there if I was, but that's me. But okay, so you walk. I'm going to say at this point, obviously, Anders. Johan, Blender walk in. You sit down in a booth. A few seconds, a minute or so later, a woman walks up to you, welcomes you to the inn, putting dark rye bread and fresh butter on the table. She introduces herself as Lilu and says, "What can I get you? The bread is on us. No one goes hungry in this house."
Well, I'm going to go and sit down as well.
That is very kind of you.
So obviously, once Victor has changed in the stable, put everything on inside out, and walks backwards through the front door, speaking backwards, he is able to enter the inn. Interesting belief, I love it.
do as he's walking in, do I notice anyone like giving him a funny look, or do they just?
No. They don't. As obviously there might be a couple of people who realise what that means, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to have any real effect. The child's obviously heavily swaddled at this point, but anyway.
You can open that. It's for you. Hang on.
As Lilu walks away from the table, as the rest of you enter and you settle down on the table to find dark rye bread and fresh butter on the table, Lilu's walking. Basically got called away by one of the other patrons, and she obviously goes to deal with those, and then she'll come back to you. But you do notice that she appears to have a tail poking out from the bottom of her skirt.
Yeah,
Victor would never admit it, but he finds it a little bit hot.
A few minutes later, she returns and asks. Obviously, Anders wants beer. But obviously, he orders the beer. What anyone else wants?
Johan is going to very deliberately take a slice of bread, butter it, and say, "I thank you for accepting us as guests in your house. Might I procure rooms for the 6 of us for the evening?"
Indeed. Goes, yes, so that's not a problem. As luck would have it, I have 5 rooms available, 5 bedrooms, 1 cot.
It would also be quite fortuitous if we could procure a wet nurse for the child for the night. Would there be a lady of the village that has had a child, perhaps 3 months ago?
Yes, I am sure that a wet nurse can be provided, but I must wonder why you are travelling without a wet nurse for such a young child.
For the child's protection. Where it was left, it was in danger. We want to save it. And to do that, we must find another child the same age that we can change it for. I know you understand what I'm talking about. We wish to be as open as we can with you.
We will talk, but I must attend to my other guests, and when they are gone, then we can talk.
Of course.
So you have a very pleasant evening. The people, everyone in here seems to be friendly and polite, and no one seems to have any problems. In fact, the fact that Victor went through all this stuff he had to go through to get in here, seems to have actually earned him some respect with these trolls. As it were, it's because he was prepared to do that. It obviously seems to give him some cachet in the establishment. Obviously, they may well have run into other guys who are less open-minded in the past. But yes, so it's a very pleasant evening all round, and the music's good, the songs are good, the drink's good, the food's very good, and the bill at the end is very reasonable after Johan pays for it. When the last of guests have gone home in the light of dawn, Lulu takes a seat at your table and explains everything. It was I who gave Hugo the Canatella. I really wanted him to record the songs and stories of our people. I saw him as an artist beyond the ambitious academic, and initially all went very well. Hugo's performances at the inn attracted a lot of visitors, but once he had finished his dissertation, it became clear he'd forgotten his promise to return the Canatel. Oops, ignore that one.
Damn, I didn't read
it. And she there seems to be tears in her eyes for a few seconds there, and then suddenly you see it almost is fire in her eyes. She suddenly rises from the chair and turns her back to you. How dare he break our agreement? If he intends to rob our people of our songs as well as the Canatel, we will take his dearest possession, his flesh and blood, in return. Suddenly, Lila presents the rest of the story in song. Suddenly, you see before you a garden and a house in which you recognizes von Kaiserling's home. It is night, and Lilu sneaks up to the nursery window. She waits in the garden, concealed by the lilacs outside the window, with a bundle of blankets in her arms. Lilu hums quietly to the troll child, and in the moonlight her words turn into song, and the song into magic. The baby troll's features shift into a human face. She climbs in through the open window and places the troll in a cradle next to the sleeping son of Hugo and Agnes von Kaiserling. Suddenly, a floorboard creaks out in the corridor as the wet nurse moves towards the nursery with a lit candle in her hand. Lily wraps the human baby in a blanket and hurries out through the window. Outside, the early morning light already glitters across the sea. Lilo pauses and turns to you. You see, I cannot give them back their child until he returns the Cantella. It must happen in the same place where the agreement was made, Carly Lake, at midnight on the summer solstice.
How far away is that?
As luck would have it, a few days away.
That is all he must do. He need not return regularly with the song.
No, all he has to return is the instrument, as he promised to do originally.
Oh, the instrument itself. Does it have to be him that returns the instrument?
Yes, it has to be. He has to come to Carly Lake and return it on the summer solstice, as was promised.
And what of the safety of the child in the meantime? I do not mean
never,
the human child.
We would never. Pardon?
I do not mean the human child.
We will obviously look after both children. We want no harm to come to either of them. We just oaths have meaning and promises must be kept.
That is true. Must it be my
I
cousin?
I would rather that we stay here with the child while you return and get your cousin. I would think that would be probably the most prudent. You
We
seem
have.
like
Must it be my cousin that returns the cantella, or would one of his blood suffice?
Alas, he made the oath to return it. He must keep his word, or he has to. Or the price has to be paid.
Then I will ensure his word is kept.
That is the way of things. She generally does seem quite upset by the whole thing, but you know, they are
Very
Fae.
well. I agree.
not.
You should stay here and look after the child. Johann says. Being as he is a gentleman, he's just going to assume Rut, being his man, will be coming with him anyway. I shall return to Arensburg and bring my cousin back.
Fare thee well.
Of course, you do have one other choice. You do
I
know,
would hate
don't you?
to have to. Right, exactly. That's why I want to stay here with the kid rather than handing it over to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only other way of getting the human child back, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't let this child out of my hands until we have the human child, until they agree to the exchange.
Yeah, that's what I'd say to him. Fare thee well, Johann. For I fear the consequences if you're not able to convince him to come back.
I trust it will not come to that.
I'll go with Johan, I think.
Well, in that case, if Victor and Blender are staying behind, if Rut's coming on up, I'll procure 2 or 3 horses. Well, we've got 1 horse from the carriage anyway, but I'll procure the number of horses we need because we'll go quicker on horseback than on the carriage.
Yeah, that works.
Oh dear, hang on. Let me redo this one.
And because we've got the letter that will free Agnes, we're going to go and get Agnes first so that she can come with us to confront Hugo.
Is it the next day then, is it now?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know. You never got the letter. You wrote it, but you never got your cousin to sign it. You came straight here.
Oh, I thought I got him to sign it, and we were able to. And then you said, "Oh, well, you can't use it at this time of night."
No, I know you were planning to use it, but I didn't actually let you. I deliberately didn't let you get it signed because I'm an idiot.
Fair enough. We'll just go and confront Hugo then.
Okay, so I have updated the other map, so you can either keep yourself in Carly Village or move yourselves back to. Oh, let me unlock tokens. That makes life easier, so I don't have to accept stuff. So Anders, Johan, and Rutter returning, leaving Victor. And okay, so the 3 of you head back to Arensburg to confront Hugo. Okay,
and we'll get that letter signed and go and get Agnes as well.
So, okay, you basically you've got to convince Hugo to come out to the lake and return the cantella to the trolls. Okay.
While they're gone, I'm going to engage in discussion about whether or not the children deserve to face the consequences of their parents' immorality or failure to live up to promises.
I'm sure you can have an interesting one there, but obviously, at the end of the day, you're trying to have a philosophical debate about the rights of humans with Fae.
Right. Yes.
Yes, I completely understand, but I'm sure you will find it quite fascinating, enlightening, and terrifying in equal manners. I would imagine.
And their argument will probably end with, "It may not be right, but it is the way of things."
Exactly. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. Pretty much that is it.
This is the way.
Okay. You are okay. So you return to Arensburg, and it would appear when you get back, it would appear the house is in some sort of disarray.
Oh, I was expecting that.
And Hugo is in a bad way, and I know apparently is in hospital.
Wasn't me.
And Hugo is sort of in a distressed state. It would appear when he sees you, he's so thankful. Cousin, I'm so grateful. People burst into the house, attacked my nursemaid, and my son is gone.
Did I not tell you I promised? I gave you my promise that your son would be safe.
But a group of Russian men burst into my house last night, forced their way past my servants up to the nursery, attacked the nursemaid the wet nurse when she wouldn't get out of the way, and by the time I got to the nursery, they were gone and my son was gone.
And did I not make a promise to you, cousin, that your son would be safe?
You did, which is why I wonder where you were when he was taken.
Is it not important to keep one's promises, cousin?
Yes, and you failed me. My son is gone.
Well played.
And what would you have me do for breaking this promise to you, cousin? What should be my punishment? What is the punishment for one who breaks a promise, cousin?
I can't do anything, can I, to you? My son is gone. We need to get my son back.
And why is your son gone, cousin?
Because you weren't here to protect him.
Because a promise was broken.
Yes, you broke it last night. I asked you here in good faith.
Is his instrument in the room? Is the cantel in the room?
Yes.
I'm going to walk over and pick up the cantel.
Okay.
Where did you get this cantel?
I told you it was a gift from the villagers in Carly village.
A gift?
Yes. They gave it to me. And encouraged me to learn their ways.
Were there any conditions on this gift, cousin?
That I should learn the ways of their songs and entertain them each night in the inn, which we did, and I enjoyed it muchly. And once I got everything I needed, I thanked them and went upon my way.
It was given to you to entertain them in their inn.
It was given for me. It was given to me so I could to hang on. I'm trying to remember how. Yes, if I learned to play the local melodies, perhaps the village would open up. She said the cantel. She goes, but that it was part of the village. I am still. Yes, it was part of the village. So they gave it to me, and so I could use it to enjoy music and keep their folk songs alive.
It was part of the village, you say?
That's what they said. Rather
and yet it isn't there anymore.
Well, no, they gave it to me. I still have it.
Just as your son is part of you and yet isn't here anymore.
No, because you weren't here to protect him last night.
You wish for me to keep my promise, cousin? For I can. Your son is safe and will be returned to you. If you keep your promise and return the cantel.
There is a very confused look on Hugo's face at this point.
Since I wrote the letter but he didn't sign it, I'm going to pull the letter out of my pocket because that's where it would have been.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it on the desk. Your wife and son will be returned to you. Sign and seal this paper. We will collect Agnes from the sanatorium. And we are going to return to the Kali village.
But Agnes...
you will keep your promise.
But Agnes said that... But the doctor says she is unwell and it will take many treatments before she is better. I am paying handsomely for the best treatment available. Once the doctor says she is cured, then I will of course have her released. Until then,
your wife doesn't need any curing.
I love her too much to bring to damage her fragile mental state further by forcing her back into this house.
There's nothing wrong with your wife. She needs to be released from that place now.
Nothing wrong. She's suffering from hysterics and melancholy. There is
No,
everything
you're
wrong.
suffering from stealing stuff from Cali Village, and because of that, your wife, well, what she says is true anyway.
The only person.
What poppycock are you talking about here? I have not returned an instrument, and therefore my son was taken from me last night.
Yeah, because of the instrument, yeah. And the vicar, the blokes, the people who broke in didn't take a child.
My son was here yesterday. They broke in. My son is not here
now. But they still didn't take a child. Which once you release,
a group of peasant,
once you get your shush buffoon,
back, they took my child last night.
I'm going to slap him around the face.
Okay.
Oh, I was just doing the same.
Yeah.
It's a double slap.
A double, so we're both going to slap him at the same time. Yeah. All right. So he's going to get a slap from on each cheek. Yeah. All right. You need to go and get your wife out. Then we'll get your son back, and you're going to return the property to the village, and keep your promise.
I'll have those peasants hanged if they took my child just because I didn't
return
their instrument. Breaking into my house and attacking my servants.
Either sign this paper or come and help us, or we're going to make you release your wife, and then we're going back to Cali Village with you.
If the instrument is required to get my... just take the bloody thing. Be gone. I never...
We need to take him and all, don't we? I think we've got to take him as well, since he's the one who broke the promise.
You are a count. Your word is your bond. You will keep it.
He seems to stiffen up at that one. He goes, sometimes I forget that there are ignorant peasants around. It is unfortunate, but if they feel so, I still think stealing a child just for an instrument is a little extreme.
Stealing an instrument's a bit extreme, really, isn't it? But
I didn't steal it. I was always intending to return it.
Cousin.
You certainly role-played the need to not have to make any rolls. Okay, so you are going. So you want to bring Agnes with you.
We do, because she's going to be the only one that's realistically going to be able to persuade Father Cornelius that she's got the human child back, and there is no need for an exorcism, and we don't want more Russians breaking in and trying to do things to an ordinary child.
Okay, so although basically Count Carly has Count Hugo basically has no concept whatsoever of the supernatural and just thinks you're all about it. Fortunately, none of you actually mentioned that, which would have made life a lot harder. You just went on the honesty thing, which is probably a much better way to have gone. So
yeah. He's quite likely to be confronted with the supernatural in some kind of irrevocable way fairly shortly, but that's by the by.
Exactly.
Yeah. By then.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you can't. It's like trying to talk a religious person out of it. You just ain't going to do it. So best to not address that problem.
Okay. So so basically we shall return everyone to the village, and you come to Carly Lake at dusk on Midsummer's Eve, along with Hugo von Keyserling. The moon lights your way as you walk through the woods. The night air is damp with fog and smells of flowers and junipers. Carly Lake is located in a deep depression. It is small, only 30 meters across, circular and full of shiny green water. Its bank is barren, but the area is surrounded by trees, which keeps the lake in perpetual shade. The remains of a defensive wall can be seen around the crater, albeit overgrown with moss. Being the troll's most sacred place, it is protected by powerful magic you are given to understand. But tonight the trolls celebrate the summer solstice. Beautiful music echoes from the crater, which is lit by several fires. The surface of Carly Lake is a watery mirror. Suddenly, Lilo is standing at the edge of the water with a child in her arms. Trolls in various forms are seen around the crater. First a few, then more and more. Some more of them in human appearance, others with gnarled bodies and wild features. Indrek is here as well. Tonight we celebrate the memory of the falling star that brought far back to us. We will sing from dusk till dawn on this shortest of nights.
If I have to have Hugo in an arm lock to get him to walk forward, he will be.
You are welcome here, Hugo. Have you come to honour the agreement we made?
I nudge him
This...
in the ribs.
Okay.
There's only one answer here.
Indeed. So this is the thing. Can I have a notice check, please?
Are Victor and I here, or are we still back at?
Everyone's here. Everyone's here.
Well, I've still got their baby because they don't get theirs back until.
I think I spotted it.
I think you did. Okay, in that case, I need to do. Oh, don't tell me I didn't give him a. Yes, I did.
I have no idea what's going on.
Russians
Well, having your pants on backwards, Victor, is probably not.
It's very distant.
He trips over his underpants. Yeah.
It's got that seam right up.
Yeah.
How many Russians followed us?
Oh, that's not what you're rolling. You suddenly notice a change has come over your cousin's face.
Wait, he's a troll, is he?
No, not that at all. He's suddenly gripping. He's gripping the instrument hard. He's basically glancing at the instrument with concern. He pulls a knife and he grabs at Blender, trying to pull the child away from Blender. Succeeding.
Oh, that's not right.
Since I was right next to him, can I try and prevent him from doing that?
Well, I'm just going to say I was going to make it a straight agility roll, and a check there, which is what I've done. So that's when we will start. That's when I'll start dealing with initiative, and at which point he basically threatens. He literally he says, when I just before I deal initiative, he grabs the child off Blender, quick and then just and then stares across the lake at Lilu and says, "Give me back my son, or I will hurt this child." At which point, Indrek, who I'm not sure if any of you picked up on about the scar on his face, who was obviously a changeling who was hurt by humans, yells in anger and starts charging towards Hugo. At which point, if you, because I can't turn it on for you guys anymore, you will probably want the combat tracker. Oh, and in answer to your question, Johan, 6 Russians.
6. Okay.
All right, let's get out the wombat tracker.
Okay, so first things first, Agnes is just going to. Oh, she's not having a dramatic task.
Check your adventure cards. If anybody's got the parlay card, play it now.
I hope so. It hasn't. This is basically just going to not cope with any of this very much at all, especially now that she can see her baby across the lake. Okay, suddenly emerging from out of the forest, is this is obviously going. I tell you what. Let's. Why not? It's a bit of a strange way to do it, but it should. Yeah, it will work if I do that and then do that, and then what I can do is I can put all the friendly people on the map, and it doesn't matter if you're in a line across the map, does it? Because it's very much sort of theatre of the mind type layout, which is absolutely fine. And then I can put all the bad guys on the map, and then I can wonder then I can wonder why I can't move any of you. So then I'll put you guys. There we go. Put you guys on this side of the lake. Doesn't really matter exactly how, except I need to put Hugo next to Blender because that's what I said. In fact, I should put Hugo on top of Hugo, shouldn't I? Like that. Okay, and then I can put the bad guys on the map like so. And Indrek's going to be charging round the lake like so. That'll do.
I was narratively next to Hugo as well with my cousin.
You were narratively next to Hugo as well with your cousin. Okay, so what's going to happen is this Russian congregant is going to come charging out of the trees and attempt to stab Anders to get it. The demon child. And misses. Victor.
What a bitch.
All right. Are they within my smarts from me?
What's your smarts?
D10, I believe.
So
Oh,
if you
what is that? That's a D8. Sorry.
Oh, D8. Okay. In that case, it would be technically speaking that. If we go on the fact that actually it works out quite well as a battle map, I didn't think it would. So yeah, can you do double range? Because if you do double range, you'll get everyone.
I can do double range, but that's not the reverse template. That's where I can center the effect. So
I
I'm
see
gonna
what you
do.
mean.
I'm going to do a medium burst template on. Let's start with.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's try.
Let's start with Hugo, but I want to get. What's his dude to Ingvar.
Well, a medium burst template won't get both of them.
Oh, it won't.
That's
How
a
about
medium
large?
burst template.
Oh, he's all the way over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So personally, I just cast. If you just cast it, if you want to just cast it on Hugo to begin with, without, because then you can always cast it. You can cast it on multiple targets, can't you? Yeah.
Yep. I didn't realize he was that far away. He's on the other side of the way.
Yeah.
So I'll just cast it on Hugo.
Yeah. He wasn't going to be originally, but when I decided to use this map, then narratively it made sense for him to be on the troll side of the river, didn't it? In fact, actually, I've just noticed, look, there's trolls all over the place. So he could have been on this side, but I'll put him over there now. So, okay, yeah. So if you want to just target Hugo, go for it.
Yep, and I'm going to give him fatigue.
Okay, I didn't notice how many bennies you'd spent to get extra. No, you get extra cards, don't you?
Oh, poop.
Hang on. That reminds me. I know he's not here today, but casting blindness on people does not affect their ability to soak. I asked Clint.
Oh, that's a raise.
That's a stun with a raise. That's a vigor roll at -2 on Hugo.
And he's fatigued.
Yep. Actually, this is where it gets rather interesting, because I'm not sure. Well, hang on. I'm thinking of Pathfinder, so I just need to check it quickly. I'm not sure fatigue technically should apply to stun. But anyway.
Well, I'll buy back the PowerPoints.
No. I'm quite no. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to allow it because it's in the rule set. Yeah. I want to check it because in Pathfinder, it might be different phrasing. This is the problem. Powers that drain or tax opponent can cause fatigue, modified by attack to any power that causes damage or is resisted by the target. Yes, he does get to resist it, so fatigue is valid. Because I don't think Pathfinder is resisted. I think it just says damage, which is where the confusion lies. So you are fatiguing Hugo before he makes his vigor roll at -2.
Oh,
now,
that's nice.
Because the spell hits him, so you hit him with the fatigue because before he resists it, is my interpretation. So yeah, he's stunned, which means he falls prone to the ground, dropping the changeling.
I would like to. Well, I know it's not my action yet, but can I? Well, I'm next. Can I catch the child?
Well, he's going to go for it. Go on, make an athletics roll to catch the child. Okay. You dive heroically, catching the child. It does leave you prone, but you catch the changeling.
Yeah, and as I do so, I would like to shout out to Indrek. Indrek, I swear to you, as long as I have breath, no harm will come to this child.
At which point, Father Cornelius steps.
Enemies.
Okay, which is fine. At which point, Father Cornelius steps out from the trees, going, "Burn the demon child!"
Oh, jeez.
So Hugo's still.
Got me genius.
This is all happening kind of simultaneously. So
Yes.
at the same time that Victor is tossing his stun around, Glenda's pissed that he just ripped that baby out of her hands after she gave her word that the child would be okay as long as the human child was okay. So she's gonna spin her rifle and hit him in the face with the butt of her.
Fair enough.
That's probably why he was so shook that he had to drop that baby.
That'll loosen a few teeth.
That was certainly loosen a few teeth. Okay. I've just lost her. Where is she? Oh, there she is, because she most certainly shouldn't be, and she should be there and visible. And visible. Everyone should be visible. There we go. Okay, you smack him in the head and he's stunned and shaken.
Try not to kill the only one that can return the child, says Johann from the ground.
Just convincing him it's in his own best interest to cooperate.
I'm just trying to work out why Agnes has got 2 cards. Why did Agnes get 2 cards? Oh, I don't know.
You dealt what the thingy cards you dealt too early, so I'm going to deal 2 cards, 2 cards to 2 cards, or maybe I've got something that gives me extra cards.
I have no idea why everyone got dealt 2 cards. No, she doesn't. I don't know why everyone got 2 cards there. I'm not going to worry about it. I must have clicked a button. Anyway, that brings us to Father Cornelius, who's basically going to come striding out of the trees. And, well, he's going to swing. Well, actually, he's going to multi-action. In his offhand, he's going to swing a club-like torch at Blender, which hits her. Oh, dear. Doing 13 points of damage, but not setting her on fire. You'll be happy to know. And then he punches you, Johann, to get at the child. He misses.
Oh, in which case I will counterattack him.
I'm going to spend a penny first.
Damn you.
Okay. So he punches you in the head. Well, not in the head, but you know what I mean. For 13 points of damage with his fist. It's not lethal.
I will roll with that punch.
You will roll with that punch. Okay. Congregant number 4 is going to advance towards.
Okay, but before that happens, with the appearance of Father Cornelius, I'm going to play a card.
Arcane Inspiration. Nice. Add +2 trait rolls to A to activate. Oh, very nice.
now, is that everybody? I don't know if anybody else has arcane powers, but is that everybody in the party or?
No, that's for you. You alone.
Okay.
I was going to say, yeah. That could be quite nasty otherwise, because all the bad guys get it as well. Okay. Congregant number 5 approaches Lilu. I feel like I'm in Fifth Element now. And attacks her with a dagger, missing. That brings us to Rut.
Rut is going to step up and punch Father Cornelius.
Okay, this is going to be the battle of the brawlers. I'm going to turn off Water Center.
Punching the bishop in public.
Okay, my gosh, you gang up and hit Father Cornelius.
I think I will Benny that.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
You shake him. Takes the punch. Anders, you are engaged with a congregant with a dagger.
Yes, and he tried to stab me, the son of a... whoever he is.
Russian person. Go for it.
Come on, my character sheet, where are you? There you are. Being stupid. I'm going to hit him with my... I suppose I'll hit him with my sword cane, yeah.
Go for it.
In imperialist Russia, sword cane hits you.
You hit it with your sword cane. You skewer him, literally. You just basically black the dagger out the way, and with a very calculated thrust, pierce the guy straight through the heart, and he just collapses to the ground before he even realizes he's dead. Okay. Indrik basically points his finger at congregant number 4 and mutters something. Nothing happens. Let's try that again. Aha! That worked better. You got the raise? Spirit check. So congregant number 4 makes a spirit check at -2. Okay, congregant number 4 falls asleep.
Nice.
For 600 combat rounds.
Ooh.
For a piece.
Well, apparently it's lasts for an hour.
If it has slumber, but it's only a natural sleep. So
Yes,
he can't be
exactly.
woken up from it by loud noises and stuff.
Exactly. So gunfire may wake him up again. But the point is, he literally he's running towards Indrek, and he just suddenly just falls over and starts snoring. This Russian guy comes up and makes a grab for Agnes. Agnes basically fights him off, and Hugo remains stunned. Congregant number 3 also comes barreling in, and he attempts to defend Father Cornelius by stabbing Rut in the kidneys, but it fails. Brings us to the next round, and okay.
Oh dear.
Somebody get a joker.
Hugo went first.
Hugo got a joker.
Hugo got a joker and gets to go first. This could go interesting. He's no longer stunned. Interesting. He's still shaken. So he will spend. Oh, he hasn't got any. He should be. He's not a wild card, and I haven't got any bennies. So that's the joker. Just gets him unstunned, but he's still shaken. Blender.
I knew you'd pay for spending those pennies sooner or later. She's still ticked at this jerk for pulling that baby out of her hands after she gave her word, so she's gonna butt him in the face again.
Okay. You don't want to kill him, otherwise you won't get the child back. Don't forget.
I don't think Blenda's really thinking about that right now.
Okay.
Even after Johan told her not to do it. Damn you.
He ripped the child out of my hands.
This might not go well for Hugo, for the record.
Yeah, because he's an extra.
She just stove his head in.
Oh no!
You didn't pull the punch on that. Just at the last second, you thought I better just pull that one back again. No.
Johan would like to take that hit.
You're going to literally jump over your cousin's body, are you?
I'm prone on the ground next to him, holding the baby in my arms, and I would like to roll over the top of my cousin so it hits me in the back.
Okay, you take 3 wounds.
In order that we might be able to return the child properly.
God's sake, she just played the card that gives her
No. If I hit him by mistake, I'm using the second one to hit Father Cornelius. I'll say that.
Okay, fair enough.
You've not hit me by mistake. You've hit me by me being deliberate. I'm leaving my last penny. I will take those 3 wounds.
Okay, wow, that's heroic.
And then I'm going to turn and because Father Cornelius is right there, I'm going to butt him in the face with the rifle.
We need
That's
him.
fine. I just awarded you a point of conviction for that, Johan.
Thank you.
Okay, do you want to spend a penny to re-attack Father Cornelius with your rifle back, or you could just shoot? You could just back off and shoot him, actually. But anyway, okay. I'm just thinking you spent an adventure card on that. I didn't know if you wanted to penny it or anything. Elspeth, I assume not. Congregant number 2. Where is congregant number 2 is going to attempt to grab Agnes again.
Did I get missed? No. Okay.
That's okay. 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 It would appear that basically congregant number 2 successfully grabs hold of Agnes and starts dragging her. Well, basically drags her down to the ground, because she was trying to run round to get to her baby. He literally just drags her down to stop her. Look, he's being violent towards her. He's probably been told to protect her at all costs by Father Cornelius, but she's down and sort of pinned. Victor.
Yes. Well, I am going to cast Angelic Defender on the baby.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to put it on the combat tracker. Okay, there. You should see Child on the combat tracker. It's not on the map, but it's on the combat tracker.
And I'm gonna give it toughness and more armor, both.
Okay, go for it.
And I'll drop it on me too while I'm at it. So that is +1, +2, +3.
Don't forget you can drop pennies on your PowerPoints.
Yep. I've got plenty.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. It's okay, go for it.
4 PowerPoints. And then I've got that +2, so let me add that too. All right. Here goes nothing.
A successful casting of Angelic Defender with. Okay, so you are targeting. Let me see. Where are you? You are there. You're targeting yourself, and you are targeting Troll Child. That's good. And you are doing both the toughness and the armor. You didn't get the raise, but it's +2 armor, +2 toughness. There you go.
Excellent.
Nicely done.
Actually, you know what? Can I drop it on the roll in the chat? Or do I need to drop it on?
Oh, I've already. Oh, the penny, yeah. Go. Oh, you want to see if you can get the raise? Go for it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, technically you can just drop it in the chat, or you can drop it on the actual. Oh, you got the raise. Okay.
There we go. Nice.
Angelic Defended with the raise means you get +4 with a raise. Toughness, protection, toughness instead of armor is not effect. Provide protection, toughness. Oh, it's instead of armor, not both. Oh no, more armor. Sorry, 4 points of armor or toughness. So actually, what actually happens is you give everyone tough. You're going to, with the raise, you're going to give everyone +6 toughness. If you went for the toughness bonus, okay.
Yeah. So the child and
it's not. It should be toughness +6. Yeah, not armor, because it's one or t'other. It's not both. But the point about the point about toughness is armor. Toughness isn't affected by. It doesn't matter so much in this, but toughness isn't affected by armor piercing, whereas obviously giving people armor is. That's the difference between the two.
Oh, so if I spend money, I don't give them both. Is that right? If I spend PowerPoints, I don't give them both.
No, but you spend the extra power points to upgrade it from being armor protection to being extra toughness. You convert it from armor to toughness, because adding toughness is better than adding armor, if that makes sense.
All right.
I mean,
all right.
Armor is toughness. Armor adds to your toughness, but armor can be counteracted by armor piercing weapons, increasing your toughness.
That's why it says more armor.
Yeah.
It just says toughness.
Oh,
yes, exactly.
I'm getting
tired. I understand
tired.
where you come from.
Excellent.
See, again, you see, this is where it changes. In Pathfinder, it's always armor unless you get the raise, in which case it's toughness. It's very interesting how they've subtly changed it, and I can't help thinking that in some ways Pathfinder is going to be the next version. In a lot of ways, Pathfinder is going to be the next version of the Savage Worlds rule set in quite a few things. It's my gut feeling. But anyway, Agnes is entangled, so she is desperate to get to her baby. She desperately wants to get to her baby. I forgot to give her athletics, so she is going to escape from being entangled. Anders.
I want to go over there and knock out Father Cornelius.
You're going to knock out Father Cornelius. Okie dokie.
If yeah, I suppose I'll just do non-lethal when I hit him. If I hit him.
Well, it depends what you're trying to hit him with. If you're trying to hit him with a sword cane, it's a little hard. If you're trying
Well,
to
I can
punch
put the sword back in the cane and then just whack
yes,
him
you
with the
can.
cane.
Yes, yes, you most certainly can do that. I will allow that. That's the other thing I liked about this adventure. The baddies are actually the humans, as it were. Always like those. You hit him. I would hope so. A +3 gang up bonus. Fortunately, he's a street tough defender. Oh! You wound him because he's already shaken.
Well, he was going for a knockout, so that's actually a vigor roll against the 10 damage or fall unconscious.
Soon.
He did say knockout, didn't he? But don't they need to be vulnerable or
they might be vulnerable first, yeah.
If a character takes enough damage to be shaken or worse from an attack with the drop on him, it's a knockout.
That's the drop, right.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to soak that, which he does, but that means I am out of bennies. I have no bennies left. He has no bennies left. Congruent number 3 is going to, well, he's definitely going to. Blender just basically tried to pistol whip Father Cornelius, so he's going to, the congruent is attempting to stab Blender and failing miserably. Johan, you recover from being rifle butted by Blender. Your cousin looks in surprise as you dove over his body and to protect him and the baby.
As I'm kind of leaning over him, I will say, if you have an ounce of the family on a left, you will return the instrument. And then I'm going to force myself back to my feet. I am going to defend.
He looks at you and goes, "I'm sorry, cousin. You are right."
And I will take the remaining 1 inch of movement that I've got.
Okay.
Which does mean Father Cornelius gets a free hit on me.
Did he engage you?
The defend maneuver.
Had he actually engaged you? I can't remember.
Yes, he had.
Oh, you're very honest, aren't you? Oh, yes, he did, didn't he? He punched you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he takes a swing at you, but obviously you defending yourself, you basically are able to dodge the blow. That brings us to Lilu, who's over the other side. What is it up with their trollcraft not working? Okay. That will be a smarts roll. Okay, he's failed, so he is distracted and vulnerable.
You just made Lilu distracted and vulnerable.
So I did. Maybe I should just actually use the power one instead. It would work much better, wouldn't it? And do that. Because then it will go on to the target and be in the correct position. You lost 1 turn. I did not know that.
Yeah, confusion that only lasts until the end of the target's next turn.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty good if it's comboed with somebody else doing something.
Yeah, indeed. Especially like a thief. Oh, someone pointed out I was too nice, and actually, someone pointed out when they were watching the stream the other day, I was too nice, and actually, Arena was hypnotized by the snake the other day.
Oh.
When he's motivated, and I can actually click on the tick correctly, he's going to have a little dance when he gets there, but he can move when he's motivated. Okay, actually, he's going to throw a curse at Father Cornelius. He's just in range. Okay. Curse can be lifted to caster at will. Or ends automatically inside. Okay. Breaking the curse. Okay. Father Cornelius is okay. Spirit check. Father Cornelius makes a spirit check opposed by the arcane roll. Father Cornelius takes a point of fatigue. and will take 1 point of fatigue every day until he dies. Right.
Well, Father Cornelius is still on his feet, so let's punch Father Cornelius again.
Okay.
Punch Father Cornelius.
Now sound like a line printer in the background of someone's there.
I think I will Benny that one as well.
Okay, go for it.
That's better. Oh, you didn't give me the raise. Why didn't you give me the raise?
Possibly because I'd already applied it. Possibly because I'd already applied the first one, so it didn't register it as a raise.
Okay.
Okay, he's shaken and takes 2 wounds because there's nothing I can do about that, for I have no bennies left.
Does the 19 bump that up to a 3rd wound?
No,
I'm just
no,
asking.
apparently
I
not.
don't think so.
No. Congregant number 4 carries on sleeping because there haven't been any really loud noises to wake him. The troll child coos on the floor.
Doesn't he? He's in my arms.
Okay, coos happily in Johann's arms. Okay, 3rd and final round of combat. Apparently, a good combat should last no more than 3 rounds. Apparently. Okay, I'm going to stab Rut because she just attacked Father Cornelius and miss. That brings us to Lilu, who is basically having cast confusion. Is just going to basically club the guy over the head. Oh dear, really? No, we're not having that. Where is he? I've lost him. He's there.
I spent a Benny, by the way.
Yep. Okay. Did it move you above where we are in the list?
I believe so. Yep.
It did indeed. Okay, so over to Victor.
All right. I really want to take out Father C. So I'm
Lethally
going to
or
bolt his
non-lethally?
Boja.
I believe I mean, obviously, him being from a different sect has no effect on the fact that I'm going to bolt him with extra damage.
Oh, of course not. No. You're just thinking. You're thinking of protecting the child after all.
I'm thinking of the children, of course.
Indeed. Won't somebody save the children? Okay, that's a bolt which hits Father Cornelius.
Is that a raise?
No, you need an 8 for a raise on the casting. And
Whoop, hang on.
the bolt gets interesting. You don't. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? You need a raise to hit and a raise to cast as well. But that got the raise.
Yep. So I do 46.
You just do the extra damage. It'll roll the extra d6 for you because you got the raise. But yeah, it will be a total of 4d6 damage.
Oh, I spent power points on doing the extra damage as well. So it's 46.
Oh, sorry. Powers.
With the raise.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Basically, pick up your normal damage dice and right-click once so that you have 3 in your hand, and then it'll drop the 4th one for the raise automatically.
Right-click once. Oh, after I pick them up.
Yeah, so don't double click it.
Click and hold, and then right-click once.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It is, isn't it? And then and then it will add the 4th dice automatically for the raise. That's one wound. 10 whole points of damage from those dice. Do you want to spend your last Benny to try again, or are you happy with that? Because that will still wound him.
I think I will. I mean, it's nothing personal. You understand?
Obviously, no. By all means.
So I'm dropping it directly on the dice. Let's see what happens.
Oh well, yeah. It probably won't worry. So what? This time, I'm not sure what will happen here. This time, you might actually have to roll 4.
Yeah, you will do because the raise is probably not there anymore.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, You cause a wound, and I tell you what, I'm going to, for making me smile by rolling exactly the same thing in a very different manner, I'm going to give you a Benny after it's too late to spend it.
All right.
On that attack. Okay, Indrik is going to basically he's going to attempt
He
to
may
cast
be a misguided idiot, but he's not evil. There's no need to kill him.
Indrik the Woodsman.
I don't believe I killed him.
No, you didn't.
Indrik
yet.
the Woodsman. Why's he got fatigue on him? I don't know why he's got fatigue on him. Indrik the Woodsman successfully casts Slumber on Father Cornelius, who falls asleep. I've done it again. Father Cornelius is now asleep. Let's try that again when I get it the right way around.
Somebody should tell his congregants to back the F off now.
Right, you can.
He's unconscious.
Okay, congregant number 4 is going to remain asleep. Anders.
He's going to bind the hands of Father Cornelius.
Okay.
If he wakes up, he can't. Not.
Father Cornelius is now bound.
Yeah.
Agnes basically stands up and kicks the guy who basically grabbed hold of her. Doesn't do anything, but she kicks him. Father Cornelius is slumbering and prone, so that's all. Actually, he doesn't even unshake, even though he's slumbering and prone. That brings us to Johan.
Woot. Johan, carrying the child, staggers over to Indrak and hands the child to him.
Okay.
Keep him safe. My cousin will honour his promise.
Congregant number 2, seeing Father Cornelius fall to the ground, legs it back into the woods. He legs it back into the woods, and just as he enters into the trees, you hear a sort of thump and a stumble, and a voice going, "He's only sleeping." Rut.
Rut will.
You
Rut will.
You skipped.
Did I? Sorry, Blender.
Yeah. And this guy that just tried to hit me, he's going to get the same treatment on the other rifle butt to the face.
Go for it. Sorry, Russ, I didn't mean to.
No, it's all good. I get to watch Belinda work her magic.
If they're too close to shoot, that rifle works on a lot of levels.
Yep. Okay. You basically rifle butt the guy, and he's going to collapse to the ground when I find him on my combat tracker. There he is. Down he goes. Splat. Okay. With the last 2 combatants prone. Rut. I'll finish. I'll get there. I'll get to you, and then it's Hugo to go last, and that will. So Rut. Anders is binding up Father Cornelius.
Hugo is shaken and prone. I want to come over and basically I'm going to attempt to pin him to the ground. I will use my athletics to pin him to the ground.
Right, go for it. Make an athletics roll. Not Cornelius or Hugo?
Hugo.
Sorry, that's what I thought.
Yeah, sorry. No, I guess we both changed to targeting.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, wow, look at that. So he is.
I didn't see the result.
You shake him. Oh, sorry, it should still show up on the table. Distracted, vulnerable, or shaken. So we'll have him distracted and you shake him. He's already shaken, but you pin him down very good. And Hugo does recover from being shaken, although he's still pinned and he's distracted and vulnerable at the moment. He basically, through desperately trying to get a word out as he's lying face down on the shore of the lake, going, I'm trying to give the instrument back. And,
I will look over at yeah, I will look over at Johann, kind of asking, should I let him up?
Johann will nod.
And I will take
and then slump against a tree in pain.
And I will take my foot off of his back.
Okay. So pretty much, yeah. Basically,
think
yeah.
we've done
All
it.
things in the at the end of all this situation is basically Hugo hands back the instrument. Well, I've lost it. I think he's in front and back off. Base person I've not turned. Okay. I don't think they actually give you a nice story about how they. I don't think they don't actually give you a nice tale of the description of the final thing. But basically speaking, yeah, Hugo returns the Canatel to the trolls. The trolls return Edward to Agnes, who basically at that point has run round the lake and is basically on the other side. And Father Cornelius will wake up with a pounding headache, I suspect. And yeah, congratulations, you have successfully returned the missing. You have solved the problem of
The missing
Lady
baby.
Agnes and the changeling child. So hope you enjoyed that one.
And Blenda's going to recommend to Lady Agnes that she just really needs a divorce. This guy is not trustworthy.
Well, it's at the end of the. In all fairness to Hugo, the instrument is a fey item, so he wasn't necessarily completely not being.
What work today? When?
Probably entranced by it.
Yeah, his disaster was a bit too much.
Can anybody do something about my cracked ribs? Oh.
Yeah, we'll look after you. Well, of course, after we've got home mad party, someone will go, "Oh, what about Johan?" And we'll go back a week later.
The trolls will heal him.
Yeah. I'll have a look. Let me see. Let's see. Is this a major injury by any chance?
It wasn't a major injury. I've got 3 wounds, but because I was smacked in the back with a rifle, but I'm reckoning I've probably got some cracked ribs.
Okay. Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do I need to use greater healing?
No, you wouldn't need greater healing.
Might have punctured a lung there too.
All right, so
we won't leave him here, really. We'll take him back and look after him.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll just cast healing on him.
Yeah.
Since I got that +2 right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You might as well use it. Yes, you've got that +2.
And Russ bandaged me up to get 1 wound back.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Everything's back. Oh, I've just healed Father Cornelius by mistake, but it doesn't matter, does it? The adventure's over for all intents and purposes. Well, as I say, I hope you enjoyed that tale of.
It was good.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, the song of the falling stars.
Let's see what happens whenever I try to bandage Father Cornelius. Oh, I succeeded. Bummer.
Are you getting console errors on that? Or is it just me getting console errors on you doing an untrained skill roll?
I'm not getting anything, no.
That's okay then. It's more likely... No, it's fine now. I don't know what it was. It's not a problem. I suspect that I've noticed some interesting things with this. But anyway, okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that one. So unfortunately,
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I must admit, I do like the Vaesen ones because they're more investigative and you know what I mean, less combatty and sort of. I think they're very interesting. I must admit this.
Right, and it's nice not to have to just walk around and kill the supernatural.
Indeed, I just thought it was rather interesting. So, okay. Okay, so September the 11th is the. I'm now afraid we're on a 1 monthly schedule on my Saturday games. I'm afraid due to unfortunately normality returning to the world and me having